It's time to wake up, Woodward. The most listened to Detroit sports morning show is about to start. Start your day with a warm cup of Flannel Sam. Or how about a full cup of Detroit Kool-Aid?
Oh, yeah.
Mix in a little JB, and you got yourself the breakfast of champions. Live guests, fan reactions, and updates for your favorite teams. Wake Up Woodward is live now on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
What up, dog people? It is Wake Up Woodward, and we appreciate you, chat family, for choosing to kick off the day. It's a good day, too. It's a beautiful day. It's already hot and humid, but the sun is out. Woodward Avenue is electric right now, and chat family, I'm hoping you guys will be, too. Let's go ahead and run up those lights today. Be engaging. And you know what? It's a lot of TLB on the docket today, Flannel Sam.
A lot of TLB, except for the fact that I fell asleep and woke up to not as big of a trade, but a trade that could impact a very prominent Eastern team, that's for sure. Could shake things up a little bit.
And you know what? There's a lot of Pistons happening really fast right now. So they have several different events that are going on this week, actually. A couple this week, one next week. One next week, Big Sean and Orchestra Hall are getting together, and they're bringing in some of Detroit's top artists. And they're going to have an Orchestra Hall night, Orchestra Hall at the theater. Ooh. So that's going to be dope. I can't wait for that one. But guess what's today at 1 p.m.?
What's that?
Trajan Langdon's pre-draft press conference.
I knew that. Isn't that only open to the press?
Yes.
So Kool-Aid gets that.
We will be there.
Access.
And you know what? How perfect, because Woodward Pistons Wednesdays is the next day.
Well, ain't that something?
Yep.
A lot. So tune into Woodward Pistons tomorrow. We're gonna have a lot of fresh material.
And then the slow roll. So if you guys want to bike, the Detroit Pistons and maybe some special guests that they're keeping hidden right now, they're gonna show up. We'll have more on that. I'll talk more about that on Wednesday. But there's a lot going on right now, and I cannot wait. So if there's any questions you got for Trajan Langdon, put them in the chat. Whatever you guys want to know, I'll definitely consider it. And just before we jump into this, I was walking in this morning. Like the sun, the Woodward Ave of it all, I don't know. I was just feeling electric, knowing that we get the press conference. Feels like it's going to be, I said this to Eric Vincent yesterday, bro. It feels like we're like schoolmates kind of meeting up, like a summer meetup, you know, because we take a break after the seasons. And so this is our first big event back. And I can't wait. And you know what? I was ecstatic because we're going to talk to a GM pre-draft, and we don't even have a first-round draft pick. But it's about the condition. It's about where our teams are, though, right? We didn't care. Why don't we have one? Because the Pistons said we think we're better than that. We know what happens if we make the playoffs. We know that we can make the play-in and potentially keep it. They said F all of that. We're better than that. We're not relying anymore on any one draft pick that comes in here. And it got me to thinking, man, all four teams, I'm calling it. Red Wings will make the playoffs, and we're going to have all four teams having made the playoffs in their last full season, starting with the Tigers this year, obviously.
I hope so.
Starting with the Pistons. I'll start Pistons, Tigers. Obviously, we're getting Lions. Red Wings will punctuate it. Woodward Ave and Detroit sports, it's more than back, man. It's more than back.
Oh, it's 100% back. Like, we don't even have to think about Lions, Pistons, and Tigers being in the playoffs. It's just common knowledge at this point.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like I was just sitting here going through it like, man, I there's not a team that I doubt. There's not one. I do believe that the Detroit Red Wings are going to be sitting in the playoffs next year and saving Justin a flannel-like crash out.
Hey, I mean, I think we would both crash out to some degree if that happened. But tune into Woodward Wings for that. Hopefully more positive coverage, though, this year. But I do want to – Draft Friday. Hey. NHL Draft Friday. Drafts are coming right up. They come basically right after the playoffs, which is interesting the way basketball and hockey does it, NBA and NHL does it. But that's all right. Ready to dive back in. But just before we get to that big trade, just want to talk a little bit about what we've got on the docket for today. A lot of TLB. We are going to discuss that top 100 list that CBS's Pete Prisco put out, in which the Lions are very well represented. But I have a feeling there's going to be some debate amongst this show and amongst people in the chat. Some selections that some are happy with and some that are not happy with. I have a few in mind in particular, but we will get to that. And also, Jack Campbell has been very, very complimentary of his old positional coach and the new defensive coordinator, Mr. Kelvin Sheppard. We've got an article that we are going to reference, and we're going to talk about that because what's one of the biggest concerns? Lions lost their coordinators, Aaron Glenn included.
Yeah, apparently 2 new coordinators means the Lions are falling off the face of the earth.
Well, this could help mitigate some things or alleviate some fears.
Hey, I can't wait. But The NBA did something last night, and
Yeah,
they keep
did.
doing things. The NBA, I believe it's a fun sport, both on the court and off the court. When these trades get going, there's a lot of things, whether you like them or not, everybody's talking about them, and this is one that I saw some of the happenings of last night, and like you kind of woke up to being able to more fully digest this thing, and I feel like somebody got fleeced. Do you want to tee up the trade?
I do want to tee up the trade. Let me just pull it up really quick. If you
Big
have
Con
that,
51, your wish is our command. He said, can we talk NBA?
Yeah.
The Boston Celtics. You want me to read it off here?
Go ahead.
The Boston Celtics, they trade Jrue Holiday to the Portland Trail Blazers for Anthony Simons and 2 second-round picks.
Yes, and that was per Shams, and that's obviously well known throughout NBA and sports media circles right now. Do you have any initial thoughts on that one?
Yes. That was it. We couldn't have gotten Anthony Simons. And yes, you look at what the Celtics are going to need next year. You think about the scoring, because you're never going to be able to replace a Jason Tatum 1-for-1. But you look at already the first steps, in my opinion, to go get a guy that you know can carry a scoring load from all 3 levels of the court. Young player too. Yes, man, this is a player that over the last couple of years, there's been even some flirtations and rumors when Weaver was here. Is this going to be a guy that he potentially pulls a deal on? You know, so to be able to see the Celtics pull this one off, it feels like championship level organizations make these types of moves. I actually think this is a great one for the Celtics.
It's a great one for the Celtics. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the Celtics
so cheap to me.
basically saying, we're not going to punt the season with Jason Tatum being out. We can still win the NBA Finals. And no, Anthony Simons is not as good as Jason Tatum, but he does replace some of what Jason Tatum gave them, which is he would probably come in and be their best facilitator, which the Celtics don't really have any great ones, but that didn't matter when they were winning a championship with kind of facilitation by committee.
But without Jason Tatum, bringing in a facilitator might make those guys go just a little bit more. Can he play the Halliburton role?
But, I mean, he's not as good of a facilitator as Halliburton, but he can. He can get buckets, as we all know, at a semi-efficient clip, although not as efficient as some. But still, his three-point shot has been good throughout his career. He's going to give you about 20 points per game. He's better than Jrue Holiday right now. Jrue Holiday, with all due respect, because he's been one of the best role players in the NBA for a long time, was a big part of 2 championships, 2021 with Milwaukee and 2024 with Boston. Right now, he does not serve the purpose on the Celtics that Anthony Simons would. And Anthony Simons, quiet as kept, is an expiring contract. So if you're the Boston Celtics, and if you want to just use Simons as a rental to help them better their chances of winning a title next year and then let him go to free agency when Tatum gets back, I love that move for them. And for the Portland Trail Blazers, I don't know what the F they're doing. They're not doing anything by adding Jrue Holiday and subtracting Anthony Simons in the West.
Bruh, like, I'm not understanding that one. And as much as I love Jeremy Grant, Jrue Holiday and Jeremy Grant, that's what we running back?
Jrue Holiday's old and he's overpaid. Both things can be true. He was not overpaid for the Celtics
Grant
because
is
he
technically approaching that status too.
and that's the thing. Jrue Holiday was not overpaid for the Celtics for what he helped them do, but as an overall player, when we're talking about what he can do, I don't see how he helps the Trailblazers. I wonder if they have another move in mind.
It feels like it has to be that.
Yeah.
I know that there's been rumors that they were going to make some moves. Anthony Simons has been a guy that has been rumored to be on a trading block for a few years. I just didn't think it would be that.
Yeah, and to me, the Trailblazers, they're effing their chances of being good next year partially by getting rid of Anthony Simons. Because I'll be honest, they got some nice players. Obviously, they've got Jeremy Grant still. They've got Denny Avdia. But to me, and maybe I'm wrong, I'm not as high on Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe as some. I don't know if Scoot Henderson is actually good, and Shaedon Sharpe, he's got to get that efficiency up. Is he damn athletic? Absolutely.
Our guy,
is.
Jeff Iafrede.
Jeff Iafrede is part of the
Hollywood
Sharpe
juicy.
family. He loves Shaedon Sharpe probably more than his own family. But that's neither here nor there. Shout out my good friend Jeff. But to me,
love you, bro.
I'm not saying Shaedon Sharpe's not a good player, but him playing this much of a role, kind of going into next season being your potential leading scorer, I don't like it. I think the Trailblazers are going to be just in that maybe 37 win range, and what good is that for you?
And obviously for a Pistons perspective, I see brother there. I would love Jrue Holiday on the Pistons. Yeah, Jrue Holiday on this iteration of the Pistons.
Because the Pistons are close. The Blazers are not close. I thought they were building it the right way, and they've got talented players, but they are not
give
close.
Give me a Jrue Holiday in that backcourt, bro.
Oh, yeah. I would love Jrue Holiday on the Pistons because that's what Jrue Holiday does. He goes to teams, he plays roles on teams that have superstars that are championship caliber and puts them over the top. As I said before, with the Bucks in 2021 and the Celtics in 2024. He wasn't the biggest reason why they won. Obviously, the Bucks with Giannis and Middleton and the Celtics with Tatum and Brown, Derek White, et cetera, but he plays a role, and he plays good defense. He shoots the ball well from three. He does exactly every single championship caliber team wants a Jrue Holiday, but the Portland Trail Blazers are not championship caliber.
No, not at all. And so between what you've seen already go down with the star deals, and now you see I would say a mid-level deal here with Anthony Simons for Jrue Holiday, we're starting to get a picture here. It's either one of two things. Either the Pistons have something big that they're hiding underneath their sleeve, or they really value this roster and these young players, and they're about to just run this thing back. You know, you couple this thing with Keith Langlois' article yesterday that he released where he put out there, and, you know, this is Pistons.com writer, great guy, great writer, great at his job, but he did put out there that the Pistons should prioritize Malik Beasley, which is something I want to get more into tomorrow, obviously, because Malik Beasley is one of your more intriguing players out there. And as I'm looking at some of the pieces and some of the dominoes that are moving around the board, I'm starting to believe that Trajan Langdon is feeling like he's better suited to just kind of run this thing back. But they've hinted at that too, just to be fair. They've consistently hinted at that, and now we're seeing it from Pistons.com editor Keith Langlois.
I just think that I understand that approach, and I understand with the idea of, I know there's a lot of people in Pistons sphere and in media and who watch this show and even at this network that think Jaden Ivey coming back will make a wild difference, will make a world of difference. And I'm not saying that he won't help. I think you can look at it in both ways. I would probably prefer them to be more aggressive, but there are a lot of Ivy bros out there who point to the improvements that he did make, which were fair improvements, by the way. So there's many, many ways that the Pistons can go about this. However, the Celtics are not ready to just punt this next season. They want to win a championship. And I know, and like I said before, Anthony Simons is not Jason Tatum, but they're just a really, really good and well-constructed basketball team. A great team, quite frankly. I mean, they won the championship a couple years ago.
Very well-run organization overall.
Very well-run organization.
We continue to see here, and we look at the all-dysfunction teams, and we see already that some of these teams are making moves. So now that's what? You got Orlando already making a move to kind of shore things up when they bring in a Desmond Bane. What you see here with the Boston Celtics is them saying, we're not done. We're not through. We're not throwing in the towel. And you know what? I don't believe that they're finished yet. I believe the Celtics, they have the opportunity if they want to still make some other minor tweaks based on how they want to flip this roster. So the Celtics clearly are still trying to go out there and put forth a championship caliber team. It's going to be intriguing to see what the Knicks do because obviously there's rumblings that they're not looking to just lay down no matter who the coach is next year. So the Pistons, I think that there's a lot on the table right now for them. This isn't something in which just yesterday there was a perspective from the legend T. Falls that, hey, you know what, the rest of the league is kind of East has kind of taken this dysfunctional fall. The Pistons are going to take a rise just based off of that. But now you're looking at these teams saying, you know what, we don't want to play ball that way. We actually want to be able to show up to the table next year, and we're not just handing anything to Detroit or any other upstart or any other team like an Indiana again. So it's interesting and intriguing to see how these squads operate and still have the opportunity to go out and get a player to the caliber of freaking Anthony Simons, bro. That to me is the wild part. I saw somewhere earlier in the chat, and I forget who put it, but they're like, man, I loved Anthony Simons. I would have loved him on Detroit, and that's a player I absolutely would have. I remember early on the hypothetical aspects of, would you trade Jaden Ivey for Anthony Simons? And at the time, I remember I said yes one time, and the people they absolutely got on me, man.
They probably
I
basically
like the
said
shooting ability of Anthony Simons. I do think that he plays really tough defense.
Well, and also Jrue Holiday moving forward was not a great contract. Even for a team like the Celtics, who he helped them win a title, I understand that, but they're not necessarily in a great cap position. So getting out of that and bringing in a rental and Anthony Simons who's cheaper, I think they fleeced him. Obviously, a time will tell. But Justin, I know you came in just ready to talk about this trade. That's the first thing you mentioned when you came in. Obviously, like, we missed you while you were gone. What are your thoughts on this Jrue Holiday, Anthony Simons, Trailblazers, Celtics trade?
I mean, I think that it was a fleece by Boston. I really think that adding Anthony Simons, only having to deal an aging veteran who doesn't have the offensive presence that Anthony Simons has, is just a legitimate upgrade for a team that is trying to stay relevant in the East. So I really think that, and Jrue Holiday's contract is awful. It is one, as he's aging, it's becoming one of the worst contracts in the NBA. So I think it was a great move by the Celtics, and it kind of sucks for the Pistons because it would have been nice to have a down year from the Celtics, but it may not happen because Jaylen Brown and Anthony Simons is still a pretty good duo.
Yeah. I don't. They're not just, and it's not just them as a duo.
Well, yeah, they have
it's that team, and when you look at what they have to potentially move forward, there's still a lot of bone, like a lot of meat left on the bone for the Celtics. And so when I'm looking at this, and we're gonna have to start kind of keeping this JB Smooth and Flannel, the dysfunctional power rankings, because some of these teams are like, we're back from the dead. This is like Undertaker style, and it's interesting to see. I thought that Orlando was just going to run this thing back with some minor or marginal tweaks, and instead they went and they said, you know what, we're literally willing to stake the future on this. And I wonder this, when they did that deal, I wonder if they believed that Boston was just going to run it back with some minor tweaks.
Well, and Boston is probably looking at it as seeing Halliburton go down, seeing Dame Lillard go down, seeing obviously
looking at the cute Pistons.
well, no, I mean,
so
their own their own teammate, obviously Jason Tatum. They're probably looking at it as more wide open too. Obviously, I think they thought that they could contend no matter what, even without Anthony Simons, because they've got a championship. They've got that like championship DNA, so to speak, whatever that means, but a lot of talented players. But this Halliburton thing, they're looking at the team that made the finals are going to be severely hindered next year. Why not? The Celtics can win the East. I would probably put them not as honestly the favorites in the East right now. You got to give it to Cleveland, even though you can't trust what they are in the playoffs. And I get it. Cleveland's not that, but just as of right now,
I mean, to finish with number one overall record again, maybe right. Number one, number two. Sure. Yeah, I can understand that.
I would bet money that they're gonna. I would bet a lot of money that they're gonna finish with the 1 seed and still lose in the playoffs again.
Okay, that's fair.
Fair, yeah.
100% handshake on that one. That's interesting. I mean, let's do that exercise real quick if we can, man, because I am intrigued at where the Pistons sit right now in this quickly reconstructed East. Now, mind you, with the Knicks, when you get to them, you got Tibbs who's gone. And we talked about this was going to be a team that was going to dip into dysfunction if they did not get to the finals. They invested way too much. They've paid way too much. They've sacrificed way too much of their future assets. And now they sit as a team who I don't think they have enough to get to the finals. I just don't believe they do, especially with the Pistons as one of those teams who are kind of sitting back with all the ability in the world and all their assets to strike and to strike fast and to be able to pass these teams up. And so when I'm looking at this thing at the East, I am looking at what Cavs 1. Are you how high are you willing to put the Pacers?
I probably got the Celtics 2 right now.
You still have the Celtics 2?
I still have the Celtics 2. Then I'd probably right now have the Magic 3.
Magic 3? Oh, that's right, because Pacers without Halliburton.
Without Halliburton.
Keep forgetting that. Wow.
Pistons.
Magic 3?
Oh, God. Knicks and Pistons are like so close to me. Like I'm having a hard time. Because,
but as is right now, you have Magic ahead of Pistons.
Yes. As of right now.
I don't know.
As of right now. They weren't healthy together last year at all.
I just don't know how much they're going to be. That was what factored
I understand
to them being a dysfunction team in the first place. When I told you guys, remember the Magic were sitting in like position 5 and the Pistons were at 9, and I told you guys they're going to pass them because it's the same recipe every single year. I think that they're going to be one of those kind of bottom of the East teams, bottom of the East playoff teams for a long time that peaks to like 6 or 5. I'm oh goodness gracious, but they do have Desmond Bane to be able to try and placate that. I will put them more or less on par with the Pistons. But so you got them 3. Goodness gracious.
And then I'd have to do a lot more digging on who I put at 4 Knicks or Pistons.
I was going to put Knicks at 3, Pistons 4, Magic 5.
Ooh. And then Pacers like 6.
Yeah, they're still a strong team.
Yeah, because contrary to popular belief,
Atlanta,
Tyrese Halliburton's absence doesn't make them a 10-win team next year.
Nah. Do you believe in Miami? And they struck out on KD. You got Miami, you have Atlanta, you have Philly. These are your teams of old playoff lore who are talking about we're not done yet either.
I don't know. Miami, they were so dysfunctional at times last year with the Jimmy Butler situation. They got it going at the end. Maybe a full season with Tyler Hero and Andrew Wiggins. I'm not even sure if any of them are free agents. Well, they're obviously not, but I don't know. It's tough. I want to do this with a couple hours to prepare in the future. I know spitballing is a fun exercise right now, but to me, right now, I've got Cleveland 1, Boston 2. I'll go Magic 3, Knicks 4, Pistons 5, Pacers 6 for now. But the Pistons obviously have the capacity to catapult themselves.
It's going to be an interesting next couple days. And like we said, that starts with the press conference today. And Knicks, hey, as we talk about the Knicks, they're interviewing Minnesota Timberwolves assistant coach Michael Nori for the team's head coaching job.
Was he the guy who was like standing up while after Chris Finch got hurt on the sideline this last playoffs? Not the 2024
like the one
playoffs,
before.
not the 2025. I'm not sure.
He might have been, but this is interesting with the Knicks who went from requesting interviews with head coaches and getting just absolutely, what'd you say, brother, turned down, and then they started going to fired head coaches and still got turned down.
Go ahead, Chase.
Now they're at assistant coaches.
We're just going to go and like try to take your head coach. Yeah, like, fuck you.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, on paper, the New York Knicks seems like a great job, but they might downgrade from Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau, you say what you want about him. He is a very, very, very good coach. And if a couple of things go differently, like the greatest shooting stretch we've ever seen and then one of the luckiest bounces we've ever seen in game 1, maybe we're having a different conversation. I'm not saying that there's not a ceiling with Tom Thibodeau and there's not some things you can criticize, but the Knicks might downgrade. If we're talking about going from Thibodeau to a hot assistant, which could go one way or another, man, the Knicks might have had their best chance this past year and blew it.
And Randall Smalls, I see you in the chat. Kool-Aid, what's your thoughts of Pistons moving up and taking Maxim Reinhardt from Stanford? Listen, he definitely fits some aspects of what the Pistons are looking for as a big, and I think that there's a whole lot there from athleticism, from his kind of physicality and his presence in the paint that I absolutely love. And then you love the ability of a big to be able to stretch the floor. Not just kind of like the Beef Stew way, where I'm proud of the progress Beef Stew made, but you can tell it's not his first love. With Maxim, you kind of feel like it's more or less his first love. Like this is something that's a little bit more natural to him. So, listen, there's a lot of these. There's a couple players, and Danny Wolf is one of those guys as well, that I am hoping, if Trajan Langdon sees these guys starting to fall a little bit, that you trade back into the first round. At first, I was saying to myself, maybe it's, you wait to see if one of those guys falls, one of the guys you're in love with falls into the 20s, maybe 22, 23, 24. But I'm even willing to go up for Danny Wolf as high as picks like 20, between picks maybe 16 and 20. I really, really, really would. I know that the Pistons probably wouldn't, but without a first-round draft pick, you have your full war chest right now. You could probably do this with marginal assets going out, especially with how things are being graded right now. I would love one of these types of players, Randall Smalls. Definitely.
Bring me Danny Wolf. Bring it to me, and no, it's not my bias. It's more about his talent.
Yep, and for the record, Maxim averaged 20.2, 10.6, 47% from the field, and 35% from behind the arc.
He had a better season than Danny Wolf, but then again, so did Janai Broom, and I think Danny Wolf is going to be a better NBA player than both of them. And I think that's pretty much the consensus, at least in this
Just
room.
don't draft Jrue Broome,
No,
please.
there's
Yeah, I know Justin.
I mean,
feels that
Jrue
way.
Broome might be one of those guys potentially who falls.
Sure.
Who knows? He might be there for the Pistons, but this draft board has been one, depending on who you look at, their mocks and all this, and their prospect grades. This thing is all over the place. Like, I think that we're just going to be kind of surprised at this draft at the end of the night, similar to how we were in large parts last year. I think we're going to be very, very surprised. Like, think about the fact that Dalton Connect fell to, 17th? And the Pistons didn't even take him.
No,
like,
they
teams
didn't.
who desperately needed three-point shooting, it was like, Like, that draft board was one that was very, very intriguing to me, and I believe that we are in the runnings for another draft like that this year. I'm just waiting to see if the trade fireworks continue that we've seen already in this draft.
Hey, we'll see. But I think it's time to a TLB, because we're going to talk about Pete Prisco's top 100 players in the NFL and how it features a plethora, I love that word, of Lions players. And the way that I've presented it is we're going to go through these one by one, I think, in a very interesting way, in which it's not just about where they rank on the list. It's where they rank in respective to their fellow positional men. Like, for example, where does Aiden Hutchinson rank in respective to Myles Garrett, stuff like that. And there are some absolute doozies, both good and bad. I'll just say that.
And just
Doozies.
one quick question for you, NBA related too,
Yes.
because I was gonna put this on tomorrow, but I guess we'll talk about it just a little bit. Cartier, I've been saying, go get Porzingis. Jrue when he was available. Now they got Anthony, who I wanted. I wonder, does that make Porzingis more or less available? I still believe Porzingis might be available because he presents an opportunity for the Celtics to go out there and play a little bit more in this trade market. You don't have to worry about if he's injured or if he's healthy anymore.
I think Porzingis is absolutely available.
I think he's
100%
available.
he's available. He's
Little birdies.
he's too
Hard things.
unavailable as a player to be inexpendable for the Celtics. They won a lot of finals games and playoff games without Kristaps Porzingis. He's damn good when he plays, but when he plays.
I think that's very, very fair. Let's get to the next segment. What, one or double up?
We can do Buddies and Planet Fitness.
That's right. And you guys know what? Thank you to everybody who tapped in with E&E yesterday downtown at Buddy's Pizza for National Detroit Style Pizza Day. It was pretty epic for them. And thank you guys, chat family, for hitting that like button for us too. If you're feeling lunch, it's got to be Buddy's Pizza. Remember to download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app today so you guys can start working towards getting those promotions. Who doesn't like free? But before that, you guys can also save 10% on your entire order using promo code 10MIL. That is the number 10MEAL. Get to buddiespizza.com.
And Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness. Get your fitness on this summer at Planet Fitness. The high school summer pass program allows teenagers 14 to 19 years old to work out for free all summer long. This allows teens to prioritize their mental and physical health while school activities like sports and gym class are in recess. Since launching this program, Planet Fitness has invested more than $300 million in WAVE memberships to promote youth, health, and fitness. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Tired of losing out on the car of your dreams? Bad credit? No credit? At the Feldman Chevrolet Freedom Sale, we say yes. Over 5,000 new Chevys to choose from, all priced to move with our best deals of the year. Get a 2025 Silverado for just $149 a month, or this 2026 Equinox for only $209 a month. When other dealers say no, Feldman Chevrolet says yes. Don't miss the Freedom Sale, going on now at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Say merge? Head over to woodwardsports.com. All you got to do is click on that shop tab. We are dropping new designs for you every single week, but I got to tell you about the ones up on screen. You can't forget about these Woodward Tigers gear that you should be rocking down at Comerica Park right now. And you can't forget about the LFG Red Wings t-shirts and hoodies still available for you right now. All you got to do is head over to woodwardsports.com and click on that shop tab.
Hey, we're back. It's Wake Up Woodward. It's your boy Brandon Day, Katie Trey Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter, writer for the network, Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, the vet of the network, all sports nowhere. And we got intern Noah in the building. That dude Justin is back in this elite booth. Cavassier Chase in the sound booth, and JB Smooth, Woodward Sports MVP, in the TD booth. And it's time to what? TLB? Hey, word to our brother Matt Broder. Hey, shout out KG too. All right, chat family, going ahead and run up those likes today. It's a beautiful day outside, man. So if you guys get the time, enjoy it at least for a little bit. But make sure you got your water. Make sure you got some shade. If you need it, make sure you got that suntan lotion. But enjoy Michigan. Michigan is beautiful. You know what else is beautiful? The fact that the Detroit Lions continue to show up on all of these lists, man. A lot of players, that measure the best of the best in the league, whether it's your top 25, under 25, or if it's just your top 100 players in the league. And the fact that we get to argue about these first world problems is awesome, bro.
Absolutely. And just before we get into the specifics, the Lions have Pete Prisco of CBS Sports came out with his own top 100 list. And whatever you think of Pete Prisco, it's whatever. I just think it's a fun exercise we can do as a show. And I think in a lot of ways it does represent the Lions fairly. Like, I'll start with this. The Lions had 8 players on this list in the top 100. The only team that had more are the Eagles with 9. They won the Super Bowl. I mean, fair. That's 100% fair. And for reference, if you want a really funny tidbit, or not funny, it's surprising to me, the Lions, I said, have 8. The Los Angeles Rams only have 3 on this list and none in the top 50. So that ought to tell you something about how the Lions are viewed, at least in these circles. I do think the Rams got snubbed in a couple of players, but that's neither here nor there because this is not Sunset Boulevard Sports. It's Woodward Sports, and we're going to TLB. Shout out Sunset Boulevard. Shout out Mulholland Drive. 2 great movies about Hollywood. But again, back on track. I'm going to start with what I think is the least controversial and will cause the least amount of debate in this room and in this chat, is that Pete Prisco of CBS Sports ranks Aiden Hutchinson as the number 15th player in the NFL. And he's ranked number 15. He is ranked as the 4th edge rusher. He is behind Myles Garrett at 2, Micah Parsons at 10, TJ Watt at 11. And he is ahead of Trey Hendrickson. And not on this graphic, he is also ahead of Nick Bosa.
Similar to our conversation we had when we were talking about these edges.
When we're talking about where he ranks, it's somewhere in like the maybe 3 to 6 range. And I actually would put Aiden as the 5th best edge rusher in the NFL. So this list actually is more complimentary of him than even I am, and I'm the biggest Hutch slappy there is. I think this is fair. I'll just go first. I think this is fair. I think Garrett at 1 is good. I think Micah at 2. I know a lot of people aren't going to like that and probably think Micah should be like 97 or something, but you know how I feel. I have a lot of respect for him. TJ Watt at 11, the best sack master in the NFL right now, ahead of Trey Hendrickson. I think this is a good spot for him. What say you?
I think this is a great spot for Aiden Hutchinson. I think it offers a lot of real estate ahead of him to be able to move up this list. We're talking about Aiden Hutchinson amongst the elite, which is where you want to see him. There was once upon a time where we knew he was going to be amongst the elites. Now he's there in the next perch on this mantle. is him getting to the top of this. I know there's some people that maybe in the chat they might take umbrage with them being over Aiden Hutchinson, but I think that this is fair. I think that this is very, very fair. Now, I do believe that a lot of this is based on the improvements that we saw Aiden Hutchinson make in his game. I won't even say improvements. Let's just say like the next step up, man. Because I don't think that there were like weaknesses that he had to go and shore up. I believe that he just took the next step as a player, and we saw him step into something so great that even by the halfway mark of the season, Aiden Hutchinson was still one of your tops as it relates to sack leaders. And so this, to me, I believe is very, very fair. I do believe Aiden Hutchinson will move up this list by the end of this season. When we're sitting here talking next year, I do believe Aiden Hutchinson will be firmly entrenched in the top 2 of this list.
If he has
of the edge rushers, that is.
And I'm not trying to put too high of expectations on him. If Aiden Hutchinson has the type of season over a full season that we projected him to have over a full season last year, he's most certainly going to be top 10 in the NFL. He might even be closer to 2 than you think next year. He's definitely that kind of a player.
He's going to be top 2, man. I think he's going to run that back. And I know it's a lot of pressure. We're talking about Aiden Hutchinson getting healthy and such, coming off of a big injury. But with everything that was surrounding it, and we know Dr. Pierce talked about how clean a break that it was and how the surgery, there was no mangled nerves or anything. This was as easy as a process as you're going to get with this type of an injury. And then we saw this man ahead of schedule the entire process. If he's healthy, and the doctors are saying he's healthy and on track, then why wouldn't Aiden Hutchinson be Aiden Hutchinson?
I think he's going to be 100% healthy when it comes to his physical. It's just psychological, but he's built different. He's not built to have this
He's
linger.
an animal. He's a monster, man.
He's 100% a monster. He's as much of a football guy as anybody that I've really ever seen play in the NFL.
JT Olsen says that's too high for Hutch. He's not the Lions' best player.
JT Olsen's a Bucks fan, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
Just and that's the thing, because like I can take shit talk from like a Buccaneers fan. Buccaneers are competitors to the Lions in the NFC, but if you're like a Lions fan doing it, that's where I'm kind of like, okay. But JT Olsen is a known Bucks fan.
And and I'm a Detroit Kool-Aid, Mr. Bucks fan, JT Olsen. For me, I wouldn't bring Aiden Hutchinson down. I would find a way to move one guy up who I think is just a little too low.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, that's why
is Hutch the highest ranked player on this list?
He is the highest ranked Lion on this list.
Really?
Yes. Just a little hint. And I don't even know. And I'm a Hutch slappy, and I don't know if I agree with that. But let's not get too ahead of our skis. We will get to probably the most controversial in just a little bit. But does anybody have a problem with Hutch being 15 in a vacuum, or being the 4th ranked edge rusher? Anyone in the room not named Kool-Aid?
Absolutely not. Okay. There's no doubt that is a good spot for Hutch. Hutch is either the 4th or 5th best edge rusher in the NFL due to his injury. You don't know what it would have been if he would have stayed healthy, but he was playing like the best edge rusher in the NFL until he got hurt. So, and I agree with Flannel. The mentality that Hutch has is something that you can't just have. Like, Hutch has bred that mentality through his entire life and his entire career, and he has one of the best mindsets I've ever seen on a football field. So absolutely. I have no worries about Hutch, and he will return to this top 15 form, top 4 edge rusher form that he is known for last year.
Absolutely.
There is another one on this list that I personally think is correct and not super controversial. Go to Jahmyr Gibbs, Mr. JB Smoove. Jahmyr Gibbs is ranked as the 32nd best player in the NFL.
I was just looking for one name. Yep. You already know it. This list is great by me.
They've got Saquon at 3 ahead of him, Derrick Henry at 14 ahead of him, then Jahmyr Gibbs at 32, Bijan Robinson at 39, Christian McCaffrey at 41. Oh, so Bijan actually gets to be on this list and isn't ranked like 150 like some people in the chat probably think. What have I always said, guys? That Jahmyr is better than Bijan, but it's this close, and a lot of people don't like it. But Bijan's damn good too. But it's also
only statistically. I think this year Jahmyr Gibbs widens that gap just a little bit more.
He could. And I also think it's pretty telling that he's ahead of Christian McCaffrey. And I understand that Christian McCaffrey was hurt last year, but when he was healthy, if they were doing this list last year, Christian McCaffrey would have probably been ranked as a top 5 player in the entire NFL.
I was going to say, he clears both Jahmyr and Bijan last year, if this was last year's list.
Absolutely.
But that is an interesting one. Bijan ahead of Christian McCaffrey, and maybe it's another one of those, hey, go out there and prove something, while you also have some running backs who are trending in the other direction. Because the only ones who are actually trending up backs in terms of young players with their careers ahead of them is Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson. That to me is when you're talking about all right, who are the future faces of the running back position. It's Jahmyr Gibbs. That's what this list is telling me, and that's an awesome thing to see the Lions get this many of their draft picks right, because all these players are going to be players that we've seen them go out there and say, you know what, you're going to be a cornerstone. You're going to be a cornerstone. Some of them were obvious. Some of them, like Jahmyr Gibbs, a little less obvious, and now you see him ahead of a guy that some people at one point in time thought maybe we should have taken that other player, Mr. Robinson, instead.
Well, I think this is a perfect spot for him. I think it shows that he's got like 32 in the NFL. I think that it's perfectly okay and valid to put Saquon and Derrick Henry ahead of him for now, although next year it might be different. But does anybody else in this room have an issue with Gibbs at 32, Gibbs being the third-ranked running back? Anybody got an issue? No issues?
I'm just looking at the chat here, man. What up, though, with Detroit Gunny? As long as he is above Bijan, I'm okay with it.
I think that's fair. That's the sentiment.
Yeah, Greg says right spot for now. 8 is for 1. Gibbs shares the running duties with Monty. That's why, in terms of how statistically close they might be. What up, though, with Detroit Gunny? Gibbs will be ahead of Derrick Henry by end of the year and pushing Saquon Barkley.
I could see it.
I could see it.
But I could also see Derrick Henry popping off for another 1,800 yards because he's the Terminator. He's literally the Terminator.
Every year, someone's like, oh, Derrick Henry's finally going to take his step back. And then he just runs for 1,800 yards like he does every year.
Like I said, he's literally the Terminator. He's probably the most well-built back in NFL history. Not saying he's the best back, obviously, but in terms of like height, speed, like power, yeah.
What do you feel about this question here? Cartier, Gibbs is a top 3 running back in the league, but stats say lower because he shares the backfield.
I don't think stats do say lower. That's the thing. I think it's completely overblown, this whole he's not getting numbers, because he's getting numbers. He's 1,400 yards. He was almost 2,000 yards from scrimmage. Stats show that he has every claim to being number 3. Stats just don't show right now that he should be 1 or 2. But again, I think 3 right now is a good spot for him.
Yeah, hey, that dude, Justin, where do you see Jahmyr Gibbs at the end of this year?
I see Jahmyr Gibbs maybe pushing the top 20. I don't know if he's going to push out Derrick Henry, because I'm done not believing in Derrick Henry. Until I actually see him fall off, I'm not going to be a part of that camp that's like calling for a regression for
he's a world
Derrick
wonder.
Henry. He is absolutely unbelievable. But the stats do back up Jahmyr Gibbs and how good he is. I mean, he was 5th in rushing yards last year. He was one of the leaders. He was 1st in touchdowns. Like, I don't know what you want from him other than 5th in yards and 1st in touchdowns. Splitting a backfield too. So, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is awesome, man. I cannot wait to see him be on the football field again.
I think that's the best soundbite from the show. Just Jahmyr Gibbs is awesome. Just not even thinking about it. Just letting it all wash over you. Just how great he is. But there's one more that I personally think is not super controversial.
He also had no fumbles last year.
Shout out to him. After what he did in the NFC Championship. That's fair. That's fair to be like, wow, good for you, man, because you can't let that linger. Obviously, season to season momentum. I don't know if that's a thing, but I know he felt as badly as anybody for that NFC Championship.
That's
game.
exactly where my mind went right away when Justin. That's a good pull by you, man. Yeah. And Jahmyr Gibbs, you're talking about a guy who's able to now build on a season, which was already really, really, really good. Yeah. And not just this. There's some players who you believe, hey, maybe they're just approaching their ceiling with Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't think that he's approached that ceiling. He's not at that ceiling yet. I think, like Justin, there's still some more for Jahmyr Gibbs to go. And that's pretty dope, Justin. You think he'll be pushing top 20?
Oh, 100%.
That's
top 20 players. Let's rock.
That could easily be a thing. Maybe a top 2 running back. Maybe the number 1 running back, depending on how things play out. But there's one more that I don't find to be super controversial. We'll do this one. We'll go to break, and then we will start the debates in here. But go to Sam Laporta, if you would, Mr. JB. And you might not like his overall ranking at 86. But I think where he ranks amongst tight ends, according to Pete Prisco, is pretty accurate. It's got Brock Bowers at 22, George Kittle at 25, Trey McBride at 42, Sam Laporta at 86, but it does have Laporta over Travis Kelce. So at least Pete Prisco thinks, and I think it's a well-known thing, that Travis Kelce is absolutely declining. He's a couple years ago, Travis Kelce would have probably been top 15 in the NFL, but he's not. He's not that guy anymore. But
shout out to Sam Laporta being on.
I don't think that Sam Laporta should be 44 spots below Trey McBride. However, if I'm looking at Brock Bowers is maybe the most talented tight end we've ever seen, that just had the best rookie tight end season we've ever seen. I'm cool with that.
1 year after Sam Laporta had the best rookie tight end season we've ever seen.
I know. But Brock Bowers, we all knew he was a freak at Georgia, and he was going to come in and maybe not do
but
that.
At 22? Like, Jahmyr Gibbs is where again?
32.
So are you expecting that
10
from
spots
Colson
higher than
No.
Jahmyr Gibbs?
Nope. Justin, we've had this discussion.
I know.
We've had this discussion.
I'm just saying. I had to bring it up. Last summer, I was told that Colson Loveland's the next Brock Bowers.
I'll tell you what, though, if Colston Loveland got 700, 800 yards receiving this year, I wouldn't be.
No, I wouldn't be shocked. But I mean, we're not going to see a rookie tight end record in receiving yards like we did with
Brock Bowers is the best tight end prospect ever. I concede. I think I still believe that last year. I just said that Colston was closer than you think. But that's neither here nor there. We got Bowers at 22. We've got George Kittle at 25. And George Kittle, he's a Hall of Famer. He's still playing well and looks as good as he ever has, unlike Travis Kelce. He's a little younger. Trey McBride, I think George Kittle's a Hall of Famer, 100%. I think if he retired right now, he'd go to the Hall of Fame.
I don't think so.
I feel like some of these guys are just a
What
little
about one
too
more
big, too
great
high.
year? What about one more great year? Does Kittle make it?
No, I don't think he has
Really?
the sustainability. I think
Wow.
he needs a couple more seasons.
We'll see. Trey McBride at 42. He had an 1,000-yard season last year. I know his touchdowns were low, but he did have a 1,000-yard season. Sam Laporta, though, still being on this list despite his numbers being down, I think it says something. Like I said, do I think 86 is a little bit too low? Yes. Do I think calling him the fourth best tight end in the NFL is perfectly acceptable? Yes, I do. With a chance to... It's funny, I say he has a chance to catapult these guys, but I don't know if he'll get the usage. I think that might end up being his biggest detriment when it comes to rankings like this, is that he could get a very effective 800 yards in a loaded offense with a bunch of weapons, but I think Brock Bowers could end up getting like 1,300. I think George Kittle could get 1,000. I think Trey McBride could get 1,000. So Sam Laporta is damn good. But I just don't know if he'll get the run like these guys do. But these guys are also on worse teams.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a world where he could potentially get that 1,000 as well, but it's definitely less likely with the way that the Detroit Lions offense is shaping up and how dynamic they've been with throwing to those running backs out the backfield. You look at Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, who had a career year and career years at receiving the ball out of the backfield. And that, to me, when you're talking about what Sam Laporta does to help spring them, because they have even more of an opportunity. Jahmyr Gibbs especially has even more of an opportunity to hit a home run with Sam Laporta blocking for him down the field than if the Lions are actually targeting Sam Laporta, down the field. And so I believe, like Sam Laporta said, hey, you look at the historic nature of this offense last year and just how good we were, and that's all that mattered to him. And so if he takes a little bit of a dip for that, I'm okay. But when I'm just talking about just pure and sheer talent, if you're taking what he showed in his rookie season as what we would have said the best tight end, rookie, season it was, and he set the record, we would be sitting here probably with him much, much higher, and not just higher on the list, but probably higher as it relates to these rankings too. Like talent-wise, I don't know, man. If usage is the only thing we're talking about in terms of giving him more targets, being the difference between him being able to maybe pass to Trey McBride or not, I definitely believe that talent-wise, he proved that he's one of those guys as a tight end.
I think in my heart of hearts, he's better than Trey McBride.
That's what I feel.
But I also can't kill you for putting Trey McBride higher right now.
I'm not killing him.
It's a weird thing. But also, somebody in the chat, I forgot who it was, but reveal yourself if you would. T.J. Hawkinson not on this list. And also, you want a nice little tidbit as well.
You think Brad read that the right way?
As I was fact-checking that, I also found out something else funny before we move on. There are only 2 Minnesota Vikings on this list. That's actually kind of that's
Is one of them Van Ginkel and the other one's Justin Jefferson?
No, it was Justin Jefferson and Christian Darrisaw.
Criminal that Van Ginkel isn't on this list.
That's actually I actually agree with that. I think they should have
that's
more
absolutely
players
criminal.
than that. But hey, maybe the Vikings.
And you think Brock Bowers 10 spots ahead of Gibbs?
No.
Yeah, that's
Hell
what I'm
no.
like. The 22-32 is crazy to me.
Yeah. See, and that's where it's like, yeah, Bowers is high, but I do think has every claim to being the best tight end. It's weird, you know? Yeah.
List, I think Sam could be ahead of McBride, but you're right with the stats. I get it, but I'm like looking at last year and understanding that wasn't a regression year for Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta took on more responsibility. Sam Laporta could do more. I wonder how much of, all right, Sam Laporta's a good blocker, but was he up to complete speed last in his rookie season? So maybe he was more valuable to them as an actual target, especially as they were still building their playmaker room. Now you go forward another year, and you got Jahmyr Gibbs stepping into more pass catching, David Montgomery, and you have Sam Laporta, who's another year smarter in the system overall. And we know that the Lions utilize their tight ends, like all NFL teams, for a lot of different things. We got some versatile pass, blocking, run blocking, and pass catching tight ends. And that, to me, is where I believe Sam Laporta excelled in some other areas where we saw this offense absolutely explode. And you know what I love the most about it? No ego from this guy. No ego. He's just like, bro, what? Like, when he was asked about it, he just looked like he was like on wherever Aaron Rodgers was on that Space Mountain getting gassed to the moon. Like, he looked like that. Like, what? Like, no. You just see our offense. Everybody was eating.
And
I love that about him.
Before we go to break, Ryan's reaction with a $4.99 super
I wanted
chat.
to bring
Mark
that up too.
Andrews is better than Kelsey going into 2025. I don't hate that. I know the lasting image of Mark Andrews was dropping that pass, that 2-point conversion, and he obviously has declined a bit, but I can't kill you for that. I'd probably put Kelsey ahead of Andrews for now, but they're both of them, their best days are behind them. And with every other guy on that list except maybe Kittle, their best days are, I think, ahead of them. But when we come back, let the debate start. Let the anger start a brewing in the chat and probably in this room, because there are arguably issues with every other positional group coming up in terms of where they rank in terms of players. And we will get to that. So get your dukes up, get your typing hands ready. Let's get into it. But what we got? Feldman?
Feldman and Lady James.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Feldman Chevrolet. Make sure her mic's on. Yeah, it's on. Feldman Chevrolet is Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer with 5 locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing. This month's specials include a 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 crew cab lease for $149 per month, or upgrade with a 2026 Equinox LT lease for $209 per month.
And Lady James.
Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff, like gimmies on the golf course. We like uncomplicated, like Lady James haircuts for men. Walk in, sign in, and before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Lady James, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bro?
Same circus, different clowns.
For sure. You want the usual, the big zip?
You know me too well.
I threw a little something extra in there for your ma.
Oh,
Hope
man.
she's doing all right.
Ay, guy, sei un santo. You're a saint.
All right, buddy, we'll see you next time, okay?
Grazie.
The boys of summer are here, and Woodward Sports is all over the Motor City with the White Claw Tigers Tour. Come party with Woodward Sports, watch the Tigers, and sip on some White Claw all summer long. The best bars, big giveaways, live events, and a party that only Woodward Sports can throw. Ain't no party like a Woodward Sports party. Join us Friday, June 29th at the Old Miami in Detroit for the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw, Easttown, and Ven Johnson.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. VenFights.com.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce in the Secret Sauce every Tuesday on Bake the Energy and every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that D-Mac does, because Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. So wake up, Woodward, and we are back, and that right there on the back wall is lunch. Buddy's Pizza. Goodness gracious, that looks good. And don't forget, promo code 10mil. Get that 10% off. But we're back. We're talking about Pete Prisco's list. His top 100 NFL players, and the Detroit Lions, they are well represented on here, unlike some other organizations, Vikings. But Final Sam, we got to get back into it because we know, even though that there's some minor controversy, maybe with some of these others, and some players that we think are going to move up, the ones that we haven't revealed yet probably are going to make the blood boil just a little bit more.
And we'll see. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. I
Just
know
a
some
little.
will with some. But put up Penei Sewell, JB Smooth, the one that we have all been waiting for. It's got Penei Sewell as the 21st ranked tackle in the NFL, with Lane Johnson at 12, Jordan Mailata at 13, Tristan Wirfs at 20, Penei Sewell at 21. But they do have Penei Sewell ahead of Trent Williams, who's 34, and Rashawn Slater at 38. So the Lions have Penei Sewell as the 21st ranked, Pete Prisco of CBS Sports has Penei Sewell as the 21st ranked player in the NFL. But the fourth best tackle. Any issues with this, Kool-Aid?
Yes.
What?
What? JB, what?
What?
JB, talk to me, bro. Because I'm looking at the booth. Because I looked at Chase too.
Let's get the booth.
I want to be
first.
I want to get him prepared too, because this is our trenches guy. He's been consistent. I don't care what the question has been. I don't care what the scenario has been. Whenever we talked about what we should do in draft and free agency, he's like, bro, I like the man meet in the middle, and I get that.
Pause.
So JB, I'm gonna kick it off with you, and then I'm gonna go over to Fonzie. Talk to me about this, man.
I mean, at 21, are we serious right now? Like, Lane Johnson, okay, I can see, but Penei needs to be up there. He needs to be, if not 13, like at least 11 on this list. Come on, this man has kept golf clean, crispy clean, and they have the nerve to put him fourth out of all of these. Like, I just don't understand. What were they going off of on this list?
I have no idea, because the drop that you see for Sam Laporta and then where they have Penei Sewell, as well as in relation to an Aiden Hutchinson, is where it's just like, looking at how this thing shook out, you could have had Penei Sewell higher. Even if you thought, okay, we think he's third best, you still could have had him on this ahead of Aiden Hutchinson, because I do believe, no disrespect to Hutch, I do believe that Penei Sewell has that claim to number one best player on the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I agree with that. As a Hutch slappy, I 100% agree that Penei right now is the best player on the Lions.
So crazy. I think that he actually, goodness gracious, because I feel like before this list, and we know what we say, push button, we say Penei Sewell is the number one offensive lineman in the league. And then you see this list, and yes, you can see just a little bit to Lane Johnson, because you understand the champion and the caliber of player that he is. But I don't know, bro. Like, I feel like after that, you got a situation where we know what Penei Sewell is. Do they know what Penei Sewell is?
I'm going to say, before I go over to Chase, I ain't conceding Lane Johnson to shit. Jordan Mailata is better than Lane Johnson right now. And Lane Johnson's damn good. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not.
You're not even giving him the championship concession. I love that, actually.
Mailata is better than Lane Johnson right now, and he should be ahead. But Chase, any problem with Sewell at 21 or as the fourth best tackle in the NFL, according to CBS's Pete Prisco?
I mean, I personally, like, if your name's not Oscar Schindler, I don't really give two shits about your list. Like, I think this is just meant to, like, rile people up. And I think, the Lions fans have shown to be some of the rowdiest, especially as the team's gotten really good over the last few years. So I think they're definitely just hoping to, like, this seems like engagement farming, to get some clicks and get people talking about it. Like, I think we all know where Penei Sewell, like, his, as far as, like, his place on this team, he's definitely the best player. He's definitely top 3 tackle in the NFL. Doesn't matter what side of the ball. So, I mean,
fair.
I don't really, like, have too much. I'm not going to get too, like, worked up about, this list.
Okay.
You know what? The chat, though, Greg 2025, this is wrong. And he put wrong with a capital W there for emphasis, I assume. RJ Graham, who is doing this? This ranking is a bum. What the F? JZJ, and I'm seeing this a lot. Panay is top 10, period. Let's see here. What up, though, with Detroit Gunny? Sorry, Sewell is the tribal chief of all offensive tackles. Ryan's reaction, $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Ryan, for supporting us and everybody else that supported us with your comments, your super chats, and the like button. Go ahead and satisfy that like button if you haven't gotten the opportunity to. He says, I'm just saying, in an open redraft of all players, I'm taking Panay top 10.
That's fair.
And I'm saying there's a lot of other people. DNC Sewell gave up one more sack than the three ahead of him, no?
Yeah, I mean.
So I'm wondering, is he using that to say that he is rightfully placed?
I mean, listen.
Because I don't think that he was quite on the best offensive line in the NFL last year either.
Like I said, I have a lot of respect for what Jordan Mailata did. He was damn good. Probably the best left tackle in the NFL. Like I said, Lane Johnson, I think his best days are behind him, although he was pretty good last year. Tristan Wirfs as a pass blocker is really, that's his expertise. But as a run blocker, I think Panay clears all of them.
Like, how many times do you need to see Panay Sewell literally moving grown men, sometimes multiple, down the freaking field? How many times have we seen him literally bull rush somebody through the end zone? While Jahmyr Gibbs, I get it. The camera's going to pan instantly to the celebration because Jahmyr Gibbs, he's had some really, really good ones. But I'm telling you, dog, I'm hoping we get a Panay Sewell cam because look at what the big fella's doing on every single play. And he's pushing grown people who got kids at home. Sometimes I'm like, bro, their kids are watching. I as a dad, sometimes I feel bad except for the fact that it's our guy, Panay Sewell, on the right side of this. You know, he's a dad. He got his kid watching. You know, future Lion, hopefully. But I don't know. When you look at Panay Sewell overall, it's what he's doing to affect the entire game. The entire game. You can even depend on this guy for a trick play. And when he was tested in this league over and over and over again, he's consistently stepped up. And I do believe this year is going to be the year that he's going to obviously have the most, I want to say, challenging road ahead for him, even though they have a lot of expectation, but because of how much change is going to happen and is happening right now on that offensive line around Panay Sewell.
Yep. And Justin, any problem with Panay Sewell being 21 in Pete Prisco's top 100 and the 4th ranked tackle?
Yes.
Yes.
Because he let out 1 sack in his last 4 years. He has zero sacks in the previous 3 seasons and let up 1 sack last year. The people above him on this list let up 0. And that's the only reason they're above him. None of them are better run blockers. And it just speaks to the fact that sometimes people don't watch offensive linemen. You don't watch how they affect the game. You don't watch how they win individual matchups. Because Panay Sewell is one of the most dominant offensive tackles when someone lines up across him. And when you are a guy like that, you are that dude. And I think that I do have an issue with, like, Tristan Wirfs, like you said, awesome pass blocker. But he can't sniff Panay Sewell's run blocking.
That's fair.
And you can 100% say Panay Sewell is closer pass blocking wise to Tristan Wirfs than Tristan Wirfs is to Panay's run blocking. Yeah. And that means that Panay Sewell is a better overall offensive line.
I agree with that. That's well said, Justin. I don't really have anything to add.
I just got to ask, you know, like we've been doing all the other ones, where do you believe Panay Sewell will be once this list is redone?
Second after Mailata.
I see a lot of people in the chat who believe he's going to be first, but JT Olsen believes, he says he'd go Wirfs, number 1, Sewell, number 2, Lane, number 3. He says all 3 are elite.
Well, and I have no problem with him writing for his guy. Again, he's a Buccaneers fan. Tristan Wirfs is really, really good. I'd say he's a great tackle. There's a lot of great tackles in the NFL. I just happen to believe that he's not as good as Panay. But ride for your guy, JT Olsen, and thank you for tuning in. We appreciate all perspectives.
Definitely. Thank you. Everybody's supporting, and it means a lot. Dante151, $1.99 super chat. As one Stone Cold Steve Austin once said, what? I kind of felt like that, too. I see Justin. He was over there bothered by this. Ed O'Neill, $1.99 super chat. He says, Pete, known Lions hater and Green Bay slap. It seems to be a lot of those in media. How is there so many NFC North slappies in media and not enough of the Detroit slappies in media.
Here's the thing, though.
National media,
Ed, you can say that, but I already mentioned that there's only 2 Vikings, and there's only 4 Packers, by the way. Just for some reference, that it's not like there's 10 Packers and 8 Lions. I think 4 Packers is probably about right, although maybe that's even a little bit too high. But
did you see where they had Jordan Love?
Jordan Love is on this list. Boo. But more on that in a little bit, because it applies to another player that we are going to get to. But this next one, I think, is the most interesting, because I think it can be looked at in a myriad of different ways. Put up, JB, Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, and this is Pete Prisco's list of the top 100 players in the NFL. It has Kirby Joseph at 60, Brian Branch at 65. And just for some reference, it's got Kyle Hamilton at 36, Kirby Joseph at 60, Xavier McKinney at 61, Brian Branch at 65, and Jesse Bates at 73.
Oh, my God.
See, I'm surprised, because I don't have as big of a problem with this as you guys do, but I'll let you guys – Kool-Aid,
I feel like
you start, then
I
Justin.
feel like Branch is the best safety on the Lions, and Kirby Joseph is elite. That's not a diss on Kirby Joseph, but – It just shows the first world problems and the embarrassment of riches that the Detroit Lions have. I don't understand this at all. I don't at all, especially after seeing the season they just had, after the entire defense got hurt except for them. You just saw these safeties effectively carry this defense and help to create such a blanket that I believe in front of them, it made it easier for players like Carlton Davis to be able to have the interceptions. And you looked at even like a guy like T.A. who didn't have the interceptions, but you look at the pass breakups and the opportunities he had to even get them. I believe that a lot of that had to do with these teams believing, okay, this defensive line is banged up. Can we go out there and take advantage? No, the F you can't. You want to come into the red zone on us? And people tested them. It was interesting to see how the plays changed in the like the last 5 or 6 games of the season towards trying to test a Kirby or a Brian Branch. And that's where, when you look at these types of things, I don't even understand the Xavier McKinney over Brian Branch stuff. I'm so sick and tired of this type of stuff.
Well, you think he's trash, and he's not trash. He's not trash.
Listen,
like,
okay.
Guys, can we be a little bit objective?
I don't believe that Xavier McKinney is trash from the standpoint of a player, but in terms of the guy continuing to run his mouth and continuing to be shown up, that's trash, and I will continue to call that trash.
But that's not what the list is about. It's not about his
shit
talking on the Lions.
But I also don't believe he's better than Brian Branch. I didn't say he doesn't deserve to be on the list.
Okay.
I'm just stating that Xavier McKinney is not a better safety than Brian Branch. He's just not. And that's how I feel. I believe that both of these safeties have a claim to be number 1 in the league, but I do tip the cap to Kyle Hamilton. I just believe, though, that Brian Branch should be the second one on this list. I believe Kirby should be third, and I believe Xavier McKinney should be fourth.
Okay, and I can't. That's a fine opinion. Before I go to Justin, interesting, Broder. I don't mind this. I think Branch is better than McKinney, but this isn't outrageous, and that's more akin with where I am, but Justin had a visceral reaction to this, so I'm going to let Justin go first. Take it away, young sir.
Brian Branch is not 30 spots lower than Kyle Hamilton. Straight up. Kyle Hamilton is great, but Brian Branch is just as versatile. He's just as good as a safety, and he is honestly what makes this secondary go. He sets everything up for Kirby Joseph. His presence, the way he hits, excuse me, the way he covers, he is everywhere. You can put him in the box. You can put him in the nickel. You can put him back. It doesn't matter. He just consistently makes plays. He finds the ball. He finds the body. And that is something that Xavier McKinney doesn't do. Xavier McKinney only finds the ball. He's a lot like Kirby Joseph, and that's not a knock on either of them. They're both elite ball hawks. But still, Brian Branch is who makes this secondary go for the Detroit Lions, and he does not deserve to be 5 spots below Kirby Joseph and 4 spots below Xavier McKinney. If you want to talk about a fair place to put him, let's put him at 55, 50, a little bit above Kirby Joseph and Xavier McKinney, because he has way more versatility than both of them, and that is what you need when you're an NFL safety.
Let me ask.
I 100% agree with.
Let me ask the chat this: does Xavier McKinney deserve to be 200th? Not on this list, out of the NFL.
Shad said he is trash.
Well, Shad's an idiot. Shad's a known idiot. He's a known idiot who just slap-a-lap-a ding-dongs over everything.
Look, if saying that McKinney is trash makes one an idiot, I'm telling you, it is idiot Kool-Aid here today. Because that's what I'm going to be, especially when you want to run your mouth. I'm so glad that he got put in his place, because there was so much talk. And what continues to happen? You continue to get shown up. As much as I hear about what Jared Goff isn't, McKinney definitely isn't doing anything to show that. That I can definitely tell you that. And when you see how much of a difference these safeties have made, not just in the NFC North, but in the NFL overall, that's where I'm just like, no, man, this type of stuff is disrespectful.
I don't think it is. And here's why. Boys,
talk to me.
You guys aren't going to like this one.
Talk to me.
No, boy.
Put up Xavier McKinney versus Brian Branch
Austin
in terms of their
Nicholas
numbers.
said Flannel be telling the truth, LOL. So
and I'm not saying that. I'm saying, though, that this is okay with me. Xavier McKinney last season, 88 tackles, 11 passes defended.
You made me crash out, Flannel.
2 tackles for loss, 1 quarterback hit, a 5.7 missed tackle rate, 0 touchdowns allowed, 8 interceptions, a 56 passer rating allowed. Brian Branch, a lot of these numbers are better. 109 tackles, 16 passes defended, 8 tackles for loss, 6 quarterback hits, a 13.6 missed tackle rate, 3 touchdowns allowed, 4 interceptions, a 72 passer rating allowed. But according to Justin, these numbers are false, and Brian Branch is 100 times better than Xavier McKinney, right? Right? Sure.
Justin?
All right, well, let's talk about the difficulty of what position they have to play, because they play 2 different positions.
I understand.
Xavier McKinney is a free safety. His job is to sit back there and be a ball hawk. That's not Brian Branch's job. Brian Branch has to play man coverage. Brian Branch has to blitz. Brian Branch has to do everything that a strong safety has to do. He does a million things on the field. That's why he has more tackles. That's why he has more pass defenses. That's why he has more tackles for loss. That's why he has more QB hits. The only thing that he has is he let up touchdowns. Well, that's because he's playing man coverage. When does Xavier McKinney ever have to play man coverage against wide receivers? He has 4 interceptions. When he that's not even his job. It's not even his job.
Justin, I'm not saying that Xavier McKinney's better than Brian Branch. I'm just saying that
Seems
there's
like
an
it.
argument. No, I'm not, because what you're saying actually supports the numbers. Brian Branch had more tackles. He had more passes defended. He had more tackles for loss. He had more quarterback hits. As a safety, as somebody who makes, as like a blitzer, as somebody who makes big plays in the run, Brian Branch has Xavier McKinney beat. But in terms of coverage stats, Xavier McKinney has it over Branch. It's actually very explainable by what you said and what the numbers bear out, that they're similar in terms of ranking in the NFL. Not that they're different, but they're what Brian Branch does better.
When we talk about usage, you throw McKinney into the usage and responsibility
100%.
that Brian Branch does,
Then he would
and
get
he's not
nothing.
gonna
He'd
be
be-
this
wouldn't
guy.
he be a Pro Bowler,
It's not
right?
that he's gonna be nothing, but I think he'd be ranked even lower
Stop
than
being
he is
blind
right
haters.
now.
Stop being
I
blind
think they're
haters.
just playing him to his strengths, and
Okay,
it's not
fine.
better than Brian Branch.
Okay.
That's good enough.
All
That's
right.
good enough for them, but it hasn't been for the Packers, right? Where's it been for the Packers?
He was probably their best player last year.
Didn't help him against the Lions.
Okay, fine.
All
Fine.
it did was
And
got
Brian
him riled
Branch
up. You know
got
what's
fucking
funny?
ejected,
You know what's
and
funny?
nobody cares.
You know what's
But
funny?
he put the fingers up, so woo!
Yes, and you know what that did? That aura
Oh.
willed the Lions
Here
onto
we
a
go.
victory.
Brian Branch
Yes,
contributed
he
nothing
did.
in that game.
Tell
Nothing.
me what he did that everybody in Detroit wasn't on that same energy. We know what it was. I even saw the players on the field like, what is going on to, Brian Branch is crashing the frick out in a way we've never seen. This team has found ways to take that stuff and let it mean something to them. That's what I like, that there's so much more than just the stats. That when you look at Brian Branch and his responsibility on the floor, I'm telling you, McKinney's not holding the jock strap. He's not even sniffing
Holding
it.
a jock
He's
strap.
He's not
He's
sniffing
one of
it.
the best safeties in the NFL.
Put him in
Kool-Aid.
Brian Branch's responsibility, especially with the whole defense falling.
The whole defense wasn't out the whole fucking season. How many times do I have to tell you?
The defense fell out the bottom, bro.
Obviously, at the end of the year.
Xavier McKinney is not holding
Carlton
his
Davis
jock
missed
strap.
the whole season, right? Hutch and Z didn't play any games, right? The whole season. The defense fell off the rails at the end of the year when everybody was out. Come on.
5 games into the season. 5 games into the season, and they were already without Davenport and Hutch.
Okay.
They were trying to those are your pass rushers.
Aline missed the whole season. He played 14 games. Nobody gives a shit.
Great for him, but Levi O did not necessarily pan out in the ways that they thought he
was good, though,
would.
for them, dude.
He was decent for them. But he was not what any of us believed or what was rumored to be. Okay. Especially when you talk about losing players, you can't be decent. You cannot be. And the reason why we saw this team go and take some of the strides they did, it was because these safeties were doing everything they were at, anything that the team needed, they were going out there and doing it. And we saw Brian Branch be put into a plethora of different situations. That, to me, is what I'm talking about. McKinney, I think they're playing this guy to his strengths. Just like I believe with some of these other younger players, especially early on. You saw how the Lions handled things with some of their players. They played them to their strengths. They're just more versatile, and that's okay. McKinney is not as versatile, and he's not going to be able to handle the usage. I think that this is in my opinion, I think that this is the Tyrese Halliburton conversation.
Oh, God, Xavier McKee's Tyrese Halliburton now. You know what? Just kick him out of the league then. Take his Pro Bowl away. Take his All-Pro because he's terrible.
We're not saying
no,
that.
Kool-Aid absolutely is saying
Tyrese Halliburton made All-NBA this season. Think about that. I just think that you're underrating Tyrese Halliburton just a little bit.
What the hell?
I'm just
What the hell?
In the regular season,
he made All-NBA.
I'm not mad at the regular
In
season.
NBA terms, he's ranked a little higher than McKinney would have been.
No, because Xavier McKinney was a first-team All-Pro. No, you just have an emotional reaction to McKinney. That's all it is.
Listen, if you're going to be that guy, especially from a position where you're talking, you have to show up in your big games. Right now, we judge the Lions on how they have responded in their big games. I'm going to judge them on how you've been in your big games. And you know what it's been? Poop emoji. That's all it's been. Show me where in the big games. You show me what he's doing in the playoffs. You show me what he's doing against the Lions. Those are your top matchups every year. If you're the Packers, can you beat the Lions? Can you do anything in the playoffs? He's not helping them in that regard other than getting the Lions pissed the hell off, and they went in there and laid the smack down, whether they were healthy or not. I know it didn't matter no matter how much it mattered against the Commanders that they weren't healthy, I know who it didn't matter against, the Packers. And it's amazing that you never hear Kirby Joseph running his mouth. You never hear Brian Branch running his mouth. They're always just responding to the bull crap that other people are talking, and then what do you guys see McKinney doing in the locker room after? I'm not talking no more. Yeah, they put me in my place. Yeah, you know what? You can be ranked ahead of Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph at least being able to take your medicine, because I haven't heard his mouth about the Lions at all since then.
All right.
At all.
All right, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm never gonna win this.
And one more thing, Flannel. One more thing.
Xavier McKinney should be out of the league.
No, I'm not saying that.
He should be fourth on that list. Is ranked in the top 100. He is good, but I do believe that there is a difference between what Branch and his responsibility is and what McKinney and his responsibility is.
Spot
I want to know where most of where Xavier McKinney's interceptions came from this year.
I'm guessing that they all don't matter and they're all useless, and all of Kirby's and Branch's impacted the game, swung it by 14 points, right, Justin? I know that's what you're going to
No, it's not what I'm going to say.
Xavier McKinney's interceptions mean nothing. All 8 of them versus the 0 touchdowns he allowed, but he's obviously trash. Go ahead, Justin. Go ahead. Emote to the base. Emote to the base. Why don't you?
Talk to me, Justin.
I've got the hard job here.
Poop emote to the base.
You guys have the easy job. I'm the villain. Because I respect Xavier McKinney and don't.
I respect Xavier McKinney.
No, you don't. You clearly don't.
I think that 65 is a very reasonable place for Xavier McKinney, but I think that Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph should both be in front of him because they both show up in big games. I think that, if you just look at their performances last year in their big games, Kirby Joseph picks it against the Packers, another pick in the other Packers game. Xavier McKinney, no picks against the Lions. Sorry.
Agreed, yeah.
So I just think Kirby Joseph is a bigger game player, and so is Brian Branch. Even though Brian Branch got ejected, he still had more of an effect on the game than Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, because he did this and motivated people. Fuck that, bro. Fuck that.
He set the tone.
He always set the tone. Xavier McKinney played the whole game.
He did set the tone.
Kirby Joseph deserves
and for what? Just to lose.
Brian Branch.
He played the whole game just to lose.
Kirby Joseph deserves all the credit in the world for that game, not Brian Branch.
He does.
Because he got a fucking pick six. He did something.
He does,
tangible.
and that's what I just said.
That Justin Branch affected the game more in just half of it than McKinney did in the whole game.
That's not true.
After he
Xavier
was just
McKinney was the best player on the
his
Packers
mouth,
all
man.
season long.
Not against the Lions.
Fine, but he wasn't terrible.
Not in
he
the
was
playoffs.
just not. He wasn't great against the Lions, but he wasn't terrible.
But
he just didn't
but
elevate.
That's
I get
fine,
it.
But at the
I
table,
get it.
He could be set at table number 4. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
Not ahead of Kirby, not ahead of Brian. At all. He could be at table number 4. I'm fine with that one. And you know what? It's going to be a few notches down. Yes, number 4 behind Branch and Kirby and Hamilton, but push his table, his chair down just a little bit farther away, because I don't believe that he is the class of what these guys are. Kirby is an elite specialist at taking literally the red zone away from teams. That, to me, I don't know how you want to rate that or weight that, Pete Prisco, but that means something to me. Then you look at Brian Branch and the effect that he has from all over the field as the defense got decimated and had to play completely different positions. That probably takes him out of running sometimes at being able to put up some of those types of stats, the coverage stats. I like the full overall effect that Brian Branch has on this game, man. And when you look at when you look at this list overall, I do believe that next year's list is going to have these safeties, rightfully, both of them ranked ahead of one Mr. Xavier Flannel McKinney.
Okay. Oh, Xavier Flannel McKinney, because I respect good players.
I respect them. I just
Justin Jefferson's trash too. Let's go down the list.
No,
Jalen
I like
Johnson
Justin
sucks.
Jefferson.
Let's go.
I remember
all the
him.
great
He
players.
dapped up Amon-Ra and say, "Hey, bro, get me out of here." Justin Jefferson, we won forever.
They all
dog.
suck.
I understand the
Everyone
politics of the
sucks.
NFL or CB here.
They all. Van Ginkel sucks. Darashaw sucks. If they don't play for the Lions, they suck.
I was the one who said Van Ginkel should be on this list.
You
So
did. Fair enough.
Look,
Fair
Eric
enough.
Allen
And you're
said
right,
that he
right.
would sit McKinney even further away from them. He said McKinney should be sitting at the kids' table.
Well, Eric Allen, you're just a moron, and you don't watch football besides the Lions.
he shouldn't be off the list, guys.
Yeah,
But
come on.
Branch
Just-
and Kirby should be above him. I mean, that's just how it
because
is.
You hate me and think that I hype up other people's players. You know what's funny though? Whenever I talk about Riley Green, you guys are so quick to fap all over yourselves about Ellie De La Cruz. And that's okay, but it's not okay when I say that Xavier McKinney has an argument over Brian Branch, and Brian Branch has an argument over Xavier McKinney.
I still don't think that there's an argument.
You just
for
don't
McKinney
like
over
me,
Branch.
that's all. And I don't need to be liked.
I love you, Flannel.
I know you do, and I love you too, even though we scream at each other. And I love you, Justin, but come on.
Great kumbaya right there. I love it. Love you, Flannel.
Love you, Flannel.
Oh man, like I said, what won back a little bit of that respect for me is when Rieger walked up to McKinney in the locker room and was like, "Hey, he was doing a lot of talking, dog. You after around and found out, huh?"
Yep.
And he was basically like, "You know what? Gotta do nothing but throw the respect over there." And for me, that means a whole lot because this is a game where guys are gonna talk. You know that. We know how this is. Just as men in general, you don't have to say anything like, "Have you ever played sports?" No, we understand how this is. And so I get it. And to be able to step up and be able to say, "You know what? I've been put in my place. I'm fine with that. I'm gonna listen to him." And his place is behind Kirby and Brian Branch.
All right, and that's arguable. And a couple super chats before we move on. Dante15. Can we agree that the Giants were stupid for letting McKinney go in free agency? Well, obviously they're not because they obviously got better when McKinney was gone. That bum. And the Packers were smart to get him. Obviously they weren't smart to get him because the Packers would have won the division if that bum McKinney wasn't in the way. But he needs to get him, but he needs help. I mean, yeah, the Packers don't have going into next year. The Packers secondary, especially the fact they got rid of Alexander, it's suspect. I'll just say that.
How do you see this list shaking out next year?
I see. Do you know what I honestly see next
Yes.
year? A lot of people aren't going to like this.
Oh, come on.
Hamilton, Branch, McKinney, Kirby.
I can actually see it. I can actually see that. That's. I can actually see it happening.
Yep. And then Shad. McKinney should be in the Hall of Fame. Dookie, Sam. I'll tell you what. McKinney might go someday. If he's got a lot more. He's got a lot more to do. But to say that he's like
Better defender in history, Ben Wallace or Xavier McKinney?
for their respective sports right now, Ben Wallace.
Okay.
He won. He did it.
Perfect kumbaya.
He won DPOY.
Let's go.
Let's
Ed
take a
O'Neill,
break.
499
Go
super
ahead,
chat too. Unbiased. KLC is overrated. 6 games versus Detroit. His teams have led for a total of 30 minutes over those 6 games. We own him and the Vikings. I do. Ed O'Neill, trust me. I do wish that the NFC North was judged based off of how they play against the Lions. But for some reason, that just doesn't even seem to matter to any of the national pundits out there. I'm starting to hear even more and more people say things like, it's not even a gimme anymore that the Lions are going to win the North. What are you guys talking about? I want to see you guys betting slips. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and Kevin O'Connell, he's hard to judge because, yeah, the Lions own him, but he also did wonders with Sam
15
Darnold.
too,
So
yeah.
it's like
I do like KLC.
it's
I'm not hating on him.
he's a good coach, but I would put him below Dan Campbell for now.
Yeah, KLC is not one I'm going to disrespect. That's a guy who played heavily into, you remember how bullish I was about the Vikings at the start of last season. He had a lot to do with that in addition to this organization historically finding ways. I feel like they're I would say the Pittsburgh Steelers of the Midwest, but they're also in the Midwest. But they just seem to kind of be that. And they ride on physicality, on that defense being really the centerpiece of what they're going to do, and then the offense being well enough that they can literally insert system quarterback and they can get you somewhere. So I definitely don't disrespect KLC. But what friends we got to say what up, though, to JB Smooth, because I know we got a few more of these names on the list.
Yeah, we got a few more crash outs to get to. We got to hear from, follow us on socials and Jars.
Hey, look, stay connected with Woodward Sports on all social platforms. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, along with YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok for the latest sports news, live updates, and behind-the-scenes action. You want to stay tapped in, especially this week, because we're going to be having some extra content, some extra live streams. We got the NBA draft and the NHL draft this week. So NBA, NHL, it's going to be a time. We're going to have our WUW Wings crew on for the NHL one and for the NBA. Get right now along with Anson and Chris Plotty. We'll see, but we'll definitely be doing something. So don't miss out. Hit that follow button now and be part of Detroit's #1 digital sports network at Woodward Sports everywhere.
And you can't forget about Jars, because sports fans, whether you're hitting the game or simply chilling at home, Jars Cannabis has you covered. Jars is home to Michigan's largest line of recreational cannabis products, 27 locations across the state, 9 alone in Metro Detroit, so there's always one close nearby you. But don't fear, because you live in Grand Rapids, Madison Heights, or Milan, Michigan, stores are popping up your way very, very soon. If you don't have time to check out all their products in store, check them out online at jarscannabis.com, and also peep out their Instagram at jars_life, because you know what? I know you want to get high.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, it's Stick from Woodward Sports. I'm out here at the Feldman shop, of course, you know, because they are #1 people. And the Ineos Grenadier, that's the new car that they got. But I got my man here, the Sun God. I'm not lying. His name is Amon-Ra.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He sold me a car.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up? Come see us out here, baby. We're in Waterford. We got the pre-owns all day. We got the Grenadiers, and we got new Chevys all day. Whatever you need, we got you.
Yeah, and I went with this one. I like it. 2023 Durango. It's used. Only got like 30,000 miles on it. And this guy, man, I was like, listen, this is my price. You either make it happen or I'm out of here.
Easy.
You know what he did? Went to his boss. He's like, I'm making this happen for this guy. Came back, threw the contract on the table. Now I'm in the whip.
Yes, sir. Sign, drive, 0 down, easy money all day.
All right, Feldman, what's the address here, do you know?
5300 Highland Road, Waterford, Michigan, 48327. Open until 6 o'clock every weekday except 9 o'clock on Mondays and Thursdays. It's 4 o'clock on Saturdays. Only day we're not here for you is Sunday. Every other day we're here to get it done, baby.
And his legit name is Amon-Ra. I'm not lying. It was destined. It was meant to be. Woodward Sports found this guy. So thank you very much, man. Enjoying the car, and the kid likes it too. It's nice and safe.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Les Stanford Buick and GMC has great offers for everyone. Get a 2025 Envision Preferred AWD for only $259 per month, or try out the 2025 Sierra Double Cab Elevation for only $169 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $699 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC, lesstanford.com.
And
then,
Johnson.
of course, Ven Johnson. If you got a crisis, let Ven point the way. Step 1, verify with details and posts. Step 2, engage your attorney. Step 3, notify your insurance provider. Get justice with VEN Ven Johnson Law.
Hey, and we are back. Chat family, go ahead and run up those likes. Run up those likes, man. Y'all are the best part of this thing. And you know what? Welcome back to Wake Up Xavier McKinney Show. It's Wake Up Woodward, y'all. It's Final Sam, it's Kool-Aid. We got Cavassier Chase, JB Smooth, intern Noah, intern Ryan in the building. And I'm seeing that dude Justin. What up, though, brother?
Have just come out that the Celtics are actively shopping Kristaps Porzingis in trade talks to help dip below the second apron. So that is a very intriguing bit of a rumor.
I just wish he could be healthier, but goodness gracious, he would be perfect. He would be perfect, I said. Goodness gracious. That was something that I thought was going to happen because, and we teased it a little bit earlier, because I heard that the Celtics were actively seeking to free up his money to be able to go out there and do more deals because they actually don't want to concede anything in this Eastern Conference. And you're right, Flannery, when you look at Tyrese Halliburton going down, I'm sure that the Celtics said, you know what? Why the hell not?
Yeah.
So now they get the opportunity to go out there and trade in some of their vets for, honestly, either some more depth pieces or a couple high-end players that you believe can help carry the load while Jason Tatum is out. So
that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You know, I think Anthony Simons gives the Celtics a chance to stay afloat in the Eastern Conference.
Definitely. You know what? Let's jump back into this list. So everybody put on the protective gear again.
Crash out,
Just
crash out,
make
crash
sure
out,
you
crash
don't
out.
hit the face. Word to Anchorman. Okay. No, that's right. Let's go.
JB Smoove, put up Jared Goff. Let's just cut the shit.
Oh boy.
Because this is going to create some discussion.
Uh-oh.
Got Jared Goff, number 77. Patrick Mahomes, 1. Josh Allen, 4.
Oh,
Lamar
come
Jackson,
on.
6. Burrow, 7. A big gap between those four. Jaden Daniels, 33. Justin Herbert, 49. Jalen Hurts, 52. Baker Mayfield, 57. Jared Goff, 77. Wow. But at least Pete Prisco has Jared Goff ahead of Dak Prescott and Jordan Love. Because I know if Jordan Love were ranked ahead, you would probably have a heart attack. You have a heart attack on the show. But
Ninth
Baker quarterback, Mayfield. 77th best NFL player.
What?
Justin had a visceral reaction. Kool-Aid had a visceral reaction. Go ahead, Kool-Aid.
What? And I'm hold on, dog. There's so much. I don't know. There's so much wrong with this. First, yes, I do believe Jared Goff is ranked too low. I understand if you want to put him behind some of your elite of the elites. But I'm looking at a Jaden Daniels there sitting above some of the quarterbacks that he is, including Jalen Hurts. Part of me is just I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. With Jared Goff, I would easily have him up instantly. Maybe, I don't know, man. I think he's woefully underrated. I really do. I think his IQ, I think his big game ability, I would easily have him above, obviously, Baker Mayfield. Easily have him above a Justin Herbert. I understand the people who put him behind a Jaden Daniels, and you got to have him behind a Jalen Hurts. But I would easily have him up a couple more spots, man, on this list.
Justin?
This is egregious. I mean,
Egregious, okay.
what are we talking about here? This guy was top 5 in the MVP voting last year. I get Jaden Daniels over him. I get Jalen Hurts over him. Justin Herbert has still done absolutely nothing in the NFL. Like, seriously, like, I love Justin Herbert. I really do. I think he's going to be a great player when he finally does figure it out. But he still has not figured it out yet. He is not as efficient as a quarterback as Jared Goff. Oh, but he's got the arm strength. I don't care. The way that Jared Goff commands an offense and is able to throw into those tight windows and make this Lions offense go, I mean, he was top 5 in every category that is important to a quarterback. And the fact that Baker Mayfield's over him too, like
As a top 5 MVP candidate to now start off the season number 77 in the league, that to me is insane, especially behind some quarterbacks that, you know, for better or worse, you talk about the last time they met in the playoffs, you know, Jared Goff got the better of a Baker Mayfield, and it's interesting to see absolutely no Matthew Stafford on this.
Yeah, that was
all.
That
was
is
another
crazy.
thing that
That's
my
actually
mind
pretty egregious.
I just keep sitting here looking for the M literally in the first column, and I'm like, where the frick is Stafford at?
Yeah, this guy obviously has no idea how to rank quarterbacks because there's no way that Stafford is not better than Dak and Jordan Love.
Bro, I'm just gonna say it's so crazy to me that as I'm looking for the M's that I keep seeing Mayfield, and I'm like, no, that's not, you know, Matthew Stafford. Hey, this is, I don't know, dog. This list is a little weird to me. And Jordan Love, like you said, being even above a guy like a Matthew Stafford is pretty wild. Like, I wonder if Matthew Stafford's even in his top. So Matthew Stafford's is not even in his top 100 then.
No, not on his top 100, which is shocking to me. But if some Lions fans wants to kind of like victory lap over that, that's I can't. I'm not gonna kill you for that. Here's the problem that I have, guys. Before this year's playoffs, I was a big Justin Herbert slappy. But he actually shit himself in his playoff game far more than Jared Goff did in his. That game was there for the Chargers to win if Justin Herbert didn't have the worst game of his life. He's done nothing in the playoffs. He's honestly as synonymous with choking in the playoffs as any quarterback is right now. Obviously with the big lead against Jacksonville, even though that wasn't all his fault. But this last one was 100% Justin Herbert's fault. The Chargers lost in the playoffs. So Goff has to be above Herbert. I'd put Baker Mayfield over Herbert right now. And that's really, really tough for me to say, but at least Baker Mayfield, he had 40 touchdown passes last year.
Mm-hmm.
He played better in the playoffs than Justin Herbert did, although he didn't do enough. You know what I would probably do? Hurts. I'd go Hurts 49, Hurts 33, Daniels 49, Goff 52, Mayfield 57, Herbert 77.
That's what I would do too.
Something like that.
I'd put Daniels over Hurts.
That's fair.
I
think,
think,
can't kill you for that.
I think Daniels is just a way better pocket passer than Hurts. I think that he is just so electric. But to talk about Goff versus Mayfield real quick, Goff is better in every statistical category other than touchdowns, but Mayfield has 5 more interceptions to 2 more touchdowns to Goff. Like, that's just not – like, Goff has a better QB rating, a better QBR, more yards per pass. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what we're doing at this point. Like, I've literally, like – I've honestly lost interest in this list because, like, it's just so stupid. I feel like I'm rotting my brain with how dumbass this list is.
And I think that Jared Goff does make it difficult to really understand the nuance of what makes him who he is. And it's sad to see a lot of people believe that he's more a product of his environment more so than an individual who's helping to co-create that environment. We've seen him now go and take 2 teams in the NFC from the bottom to the playoffs. And to winning playoff games. And that, to me, is where it's like, listen, and there's something special here with this guy, regardless of the stats or not. And I do believe that we had another guy here in Detroit who actually won a championship, who, regardless of the stats, we accepted that this guy made a big impact. We even called this guy Mr. Big Shot. You know, and that, to me, is where it gets really, really interesting with a Jared Goff. I think that a lot of people miss what made him so special last year. Top 5 MVP candidate, and yes, you can go ahead and look at the stats, but when you look at the timing and the relationship that he has with those receivers on the field, in the field of play, that to me is what makes him so special. And everything that people said he can't do, he's going out there and proving that he actually can do it, with one of the chief things being, can he even use a wide receiver like J-Mo? You don't know how many times I heard that from people and saw that in the chat. I was in that sound booth, man. In that sound booth for this show that had you and Jeff on it. And I remember the chat, and I remember people talking about Jamison Williams in that light, and that Jared Goff. You need another. If Jamos were committing to, we need another quarterback because he can't even get him the ball type stuff. We see him go out there and continue to be. When Brad Holmes in the beginning of this thing stated, yes, he can do and make any throw that we ask him to, and we think he can do anything out there in that field. That's what Dan Campbell wound up saying. People laughed at that. And now we see this guy continuing to be every single year one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but for some reason, at the beginning of it, they always go and reset it as if he's fallen off. But if you go and you look at the last 2 or 3 years, especially of him being a Lions quarterback, you're looking at a guy who's finishing top 5, top 6 every single year in this, as it relates to the stats and as it relates to performance of the team.
I see what up though with Detroit Gunny. You can rank Hurts and Daniels above Goff at your peril. We shall see at the end of the season. Yes, we shall. I don't just expect it. I demand a better playoff performance from Goff in this next playoffs. And if he does that, I think by next year he will get a higher spot, because that's the only thing you can really hold against Goff. And it's a big one, but that's the only thing you can count against Goff this year.
And why? Hold on, before you go. But why I have Daniels above Goff is because he did more with less, and that's why.
No, I'm cool with. I think Daniels is better than Goff, and I know we're in lockstep on that. And that's not anti-Goff. I think Daniels was the most special rookie quarterback I ever saw in my life last year.
100%.
AD 411. I don't understand this one.
What's up?
I know you're one of our OGs, but he says Goff chokes in big games. Commanders game last year. 49ers NFC Championship game.
See, don't hate Adiz, because we've talked about it on this show where I say that me being the most objective Goff person there is, yes, he choked against the Commanders, but he also played well enough to beat the 49ers. That was not on Jared Goff.
He played. That was a perfect playoff run by Jared Goff.
He had no picks,
turnovers,
no picks.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He put the ball on the money. Yeah. He did what he needed to do to win that game. And so I don't quite agree with that one. Ryan's reaction. Can we take a moment to come together and appreciate that Aaron Rodgers isn't on this list?
Yeah, I mean,
There's a lot of Lions fans who are happy
Yeah.
that Aaron Rodgers, no Matthew Stafford, and ranked ahead of Jordan Love. That's just the NFC North trifecta.
I just can't believe that Jordan Love's ahead of Stafford too.
That's crazy.
And I get that Jordan Love's got potential, and he's obviously ascending. You think more than Stafford is, but you got to put Stafford.
And
put Stafford on this list and put Jordan Love.
But Dak ahead of Stafford as well.
No, I disagree. I think Stafford should be ahead of both.
I feel like that was the one. Like I almost feel like he had this list with Stafford right behind Goff and just said, you know what? Let's just shake some stuff up. Because I bet you Matthew Stafford is probably the quarterback right behind Jordan Love.
Hey, yeah, I mean, man,
that's pretty crazy, man.
I'd probably I would put Stafford above Herbert right now if I'm being honest. Again, I cannot express to you how much people forget because it was a very boring playoff game, but Justin Herbert, and this is coming from a former Justin Herbert slappy, shit down his leg in the playoff game. Like, badly. Didn't even at least put up the point total that Goff did. It was pathetic. The Chargers, he had 3 interceptions all regular season and then 4 in the playoff game. He should not be on this list. And I love Justin Herbert. I love his talent, but he is a playoff gagger.
Yeah. And Greg, I salute thee, man. I see you. Jared Goff is still our quarterback. I stand with him. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's that Detroit Kool-Aid love, especially if they deserve it. He just literally had a MVP level season. Obviously crapped out in the playoffs. I get it, and I know that he had the concussion, tried to play through it and all that type of stuff. But it is what it is. When you play, when you step out there on the court, you're expected to go out there and to perform, especially as an MVP candidate.
Yep.
So I expect Jared Goff to do more of what we saw in his first playoff run here with the Lions this year, and that's play very, very clean football, and not just clean football, be a part of the reason why this team has the opportunity to go out there and win. Because just the same way that they went out there and they beat the Rams, right?
Yeah.
Did he not put the money on the ball? He threw it to the right guy against the Rams. And that was one Amon-Ra St. Brown. And what did we see? Same exact thing, but only it was another person, not Amon-Ra in this instance, who also dropped a pass or 2 in that game against the 49ers. Our wide receivers did not have their best day, except for J-Mo. But we saw in this game, same thing, same situations, same scenario. You have an opportunity to be able to effectively put this thing away for your team. And instead of what they did against the Rams, in which Goff put the ball on the money and it was caught, this one was just absolutely dropped.
Yep. Like I said, you can't blame Goff for the 49ers game. And if you do that, that's just hate. That's just hate. Just be objective. Just, as I've always said, my advice to anybody in there, even if you don't want it, and even to my fellow people at this network, just judge every situation how it should be judged.
And I see here, shout out to Eric Allen for this take. Says Pete Prisco is similar to Florio and just has bad take after bad take after bad take. Nothing new here. Honestly, when you look at this, there's a lot of these lists that I kind of actually agree with and that I like, except for where the Lions are ranked. And in the past, it's a situation to where they could do this and get away with it, because what were the Lions winning? What were the Lions doing? Like, I wonder where Jared Goff was ranked last year, according to him. But where was Jared Goff ranked at the end of the season? That's why we asked those questions. If wherever he was ranked at the beginning of last season, we know he finished top 5. It doesn't matter who your favorite quarterback is. It didn't even matter who you believe Jaden Daniels was in the regular season. We know where Jared Goff at least finished in that MVP ranking. So I do ask you, where do you believe Jared Goff will be at the end of this season?
End of this season, top 50 in the NFL. I'll go top 50 in the NFL.
What about amongst the quarterbacks? Is he going to be back in that top 5?
7. I'll go 7.
7?
Yeah, I'll go 7.
All right, let's rock, man.
But better than this year. And Terrell Lamar, to answer your question from earlier, because I saw it and I didn't see it, which another thing we can point and laugh at, the Chicago Bears have 2 players on this list. You asked earlier, and one of them's Jalen Johnson. I'm guessing the other one would probably be DJ Moore, although I didn't see him either.
Oh, DJ
Unless I'm
Moore,
missing somebody obvious.
Mr. Enzalone makes me cry. He's good, but still trash.
No, he's good, but if he's on the list, he's probably like lower. But I know Jalen Johnson is. I can't remember who the other one is at the top of my head.
Grim says, I'm coming to Detroit next year. Y'all got me fired up. Hey, let's rock, man. I always love when people get the opportunity, if they're not here, to be able to come and experience Detroit sports boots on the ground, man. It's epic, and it's nothing like it. Nothing like it. He says he's in the 410. And what up, though, with Detroit Gunny? He says the wide receiver list is atrocious.
I mean, oh, God, we didn't do Amon-Ra.
No, we didn't.
We didn't do Amon-Ra.
This is going to be bad.
Oh, shit. We forgot to do Amon-Ra.
You know what? We can definitely do that to start the show tomorrow.
Do you want to do what's trending, JB, or Amon-Ra?
Let's do Amon-Ra, and then we can run through what's trending real quick.
Okay. Do you need to take a break first?
We'll say what up to some friends.
Yeah, we can. Let's hear from me at Caesars and the White Claw Tour.
Yes, and JT Olson, good catch. The other person for the Bears is Joe Tooney. It's Joe Tooney and Jalen Johnson. Well done. And Joe Tooney's actually ranked up pretty high. He's a damn good guard, so good on you. But anywho.
All right, Caesars and White Claw. Sports Fan Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Scan that QR code. Use code word Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000, but all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet, and if it doesn't hit, Caesars will throw it back into your account with no questions asked. Scan that QR code. Use code word Woodward1000 and make some money tonight. And the White Claw Tour.
Calling all Detroit Tigers fans, join us for the White Claw Tigers Tour. Woodward Sports will be hitting 4 of the top bars in Detroit to watch a Tigers game live on the network, and we already did 2 of those, McShane's and Nemo's Bar. But now we need you guys to join us and a whole bunch of the crew Sunday night, June 29th, for our third stop on the tour at the Old Miami Bar in downtown Detroit. Be part of the fun. See our reactions live on Woodward Sports Network to one of the hottest teams, the best team in all of baseball. They're 1 game up on the Dodgers right now. It's the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw and Vin Johnson Law.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bro?
Same circus, different clowns.
Yeah, for sure. You want the usual, the big zip?
You know me too well.
I threw a little something extra in there for your ma.
Oh,
Hope
man.
she's doing all right.
Ay, guy, sei un santo. You're a saint.
All right, buddy, we'll see you next time, okay?
Grazie.
Hey, everybody looking to upgrade your relaxation game? Check out the Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. The largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest. They have top brands for massage chairs like Infinity and Osaki. Located near the corner of Woodward and Long Lake Road. Go experience luxury comfort with Dr. Eric Duncan. He's the wellness doc, creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Book a visit at www.massagechairhouse.com or scan the QR code above my head. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation. Also, summer is heating up. Michigan is buzzing. Each can delivers 7.5 milligrams of real THC wrapped in bubbles, crafted with real fruit juice and no artificial sweeteners. They are bold in flavor but low in calorie, 100% hangover free. They are all the bubbles with none of the troubles. Perfect for poolside sips, bonfire nights, or lake day chills. Available at any of Loom's 38 locations across Michigan. Use code WSN30 for 30% off your entire order. That's available online or in store. Go to www.loom.com today.
Well, we got to talk about wide receivers. And what up, though, with Detroit Gunny says, just a teaser. Amon-Ra St. Brown dropped 19 spots from the previous year's list, according to Pistol List Pete Prisco.
Hey, I hope
this list is
that Justin makes his way back into the studio because JB Smooth, you know what? Here's what we'll do. you put up Amon-Ra, and then you react to it first before any of us do.
That's right, man.
Here, I'll read it out loud for the people who are on audio only, and then I'll throw it back over to you, JB Smooth. Put up Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra, according to Pete Prisco, is listed as the 58th best receiver in the NFL.
What?
Justin Jefferson at 5, Jamar Chase at 8.
Neighbors? Okay.
CeeDee Lamb at 27. Tyreek Hill at 30. Kool-Aid, you're right, by the way. Tyreek Hill at 30. A.J. Brown at 31. Brian Thomas Jr. at 44. Malik Neighbors at 43. Amon-Ra St. Brown at 58. And I think almost as egregious, Puka Nacua all the way at 63. But they do have Amon-Ra over Puka, which I agree with. But, man, that list is interesting. What say you, JB?
There's Justin. Go ahead, JB.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Justin.
I feel like Justin right now. Like, I've lost interest in this list based off of before and this alone. I mean, I give you credit for Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. That's fine. CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown. At a certain point, A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts had issues through and half the way through that season. Brian Thompson, Malik Neighbors, great rookies. I still need to see it more consistent. I will probably give them this number next year if they have, better stats. But to have Amon-Ra at 58, this is ridiculous.
Behind a couple people coming off.
This is nonsense. This is an insult to the Detroit Lions, to the wide receiver core that we have here. This is terrible. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Kool-Aid.
What?
I'm still sitting here looking at this. This is absolutely insane to me. I think it's absolutely disrespectful to Amon-Ra St. Brown. This is what I was talking about the other day. People can't wait to try and just throw the dirt on the Detroit Lions. And I think that this is lazy. I'm starting to understand now. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson is going to be a guy who attracts a lot of headlines, right? And there's a big push about who he's going to be as he comes back. I think it's just lazy. You just throw him up there number one without even parsing what's the reality here. And it's not difficult. Like, Benet is clearly our number one player. And he's slated for, even if we believe that Aiden Hutchinson can become better as it relates to our top players, we know that he's injured. He's coming back. He's going to have to prove himself to get into it. And right now, Benet is just proving what he is. When you talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown, another one of those, not just culture changers and setters, but he's just one of those just game changers and game breakers from a different standpoint. Whenever the Lions need him, he's been there. And I just don't understand what people need to see. All the flash, all the pizzazz, certain stats and things of that nature. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a guy who got a whole lot more attention this year and still continued to go out there and make the catches and still continue to go out there and take the hits and still continue to go out there and be the Detroit Lions' best wide receiver on a team where everybody ate. He could have had even more. That's the component of it that I'm just like, what are you talking about when you're putting these things up here? You definitely want to be able to say, you know what? Shout out to guys like Malik Neighbors. Shout out to Brian Thomas Jr. for having the seasons they did. But I'm sorry, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Period.
Go ahead, Justin.
Not many of these guys have 1,400 yards in their career in a season. And on top of that, Amon-Ra St. Brown had more receiving yards last year than Neighbors, had more touchdowns than Neighbors, had more touchdowns than Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. only had like 25 more yards than Amon-Ra St. Brown. Tyreek Hill didn't even have 1,000 yards last year, so that's kind of utterly ridiculous that he's up there. Like, sorry, like, what are we even talking about? If you don't eclipse 1,000 yards in a season as a wide receiver, you have no ground to stand on to try to be in a list of a top 50, even top 10 receivers. If you're thinking about the top 10 receivers, Tyreek Hill should be off this list. Like, I know he's great in his own regard, but last year he was awful.
He was terrible last year.
No, honestly, Justin, you're right. I've got as much respect for Tyreek Hill as anybody. He's a Hall of Famer at his peak.
100%.
At his peak, he's one of the most electrifying players any of us have ever seen. He's a champion with the Chiefs. We all remember that 3rd and 15 wasp play that that Patrick Mahomes hit to him. That being said, Tyreek Hill stunk last year. He was one of the most underwhelming players based on expectations probably in the NFL.
I think that's fair. Where's Drake London? Where's Nico Collins?
Nico Collins, to answer your question, sorry to interrupt. Nico Collins is about 67, and Mike Evans is like down near like in like the 80s, 90s. Yeah.
Nico Collins missed half the season and still put up 1,000 yards.
Nico Collins.
Like, what are we talking about here?
It's inconsistent because we saw Aiden Hutchinson miss even more than half the season, and look at where he's ranked. Like, that's what I'm saying. This list, just think it's a little lazy.
Yeah, honestly, Nico Collins should be ahead of Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors.
disrespecting the
And
Lions.
for the record, again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm crapping on Thomas and Neighbors. They are really, really good.
Yeah.
They could be really, really good in the NFL for a long time. I especially think that Brian Thomas Jr. is going to eat this year. However, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and this is my opinion, I would have no problem with him being at 5, but I would also have no problem with him being at 3 in terms of wide receivers. I do think CeeDee Lamb is just as good as him, and I do think A.J. Brown is just as good as him. My problem is Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't 27 spots below A.J. Brown and
100%.
31 spots below CeeDee Lamb. They should all be – I think Amon-Ra St. Brown, do you want me to be honest?
Talk to me.
Put him at 30. And put him at 30
Yeah.
and put Puka Nacua way higher.
Yeah.
And
he had 1,000 yards and he was hurt half the season too.
Yeah.
Like, what are we even talking about?
Puka Nacua is arguably better than A.J. Brown, in my opinion. I think it's close. I think Puka Nacua is the 6th best receiver in the NFL, with Amon-Ra being anywhere between 3 and 5. I think it's Jefferson, Chase, CeeDee, Brown, Amon-Ra, and Puka. There should be no rookies who they should be on the list but lower. Tyreek Hill was terrible last year. And
Nico Collins should be on that like elite list too, not like above the rookies 100%. Nico Collins is unbelievable when he's on the field.
He's 67, and let me just scroll through this.
I'm why
Greg,
some of
the
these
players see this, and yes, they actually do see this stuff.
Yep.
They do.
Some of these like have like such recency bias in them, and then some of them are just like there's no recency bias. There's like no criteria that we're looking for here, and like that's what really bothers me.
And
like we're gonna go with the recency bias of Brian Thomas and Neighbors, but we're just gonna forget what Amon-Ra St. Brown does and what Tyreek Hill does. Like what are we talking about? Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, this isn't Flannel's list. This is Pete Prisco of CBS.
And unlike Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra St. Brown actually followed up his. Okay, Spenny. I'm sure Spenny thinks that Xavier McKinney should be off the list, maybe 300. Maybe
101 is fine. 101
the
is a
Giants
good
got
spot.
better trading him. The Packers, the only reason they didn't win the division is because that bum Xavier McKinney was holding them back. This makes me mad. But anywho. 81 was Terry McLaurin, just for some
what?
82 Mike Evans.
Scary Terry, huh?
Ooh.
82 Mike Evans.
91
Mike Evans
Devontae Adams.
Wow.
Damn. And Broder's not gonna like this one. 93. It's good that he's on the list, but Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey is closer to Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors than 93 and 44 and 45. He's right up there with those two in my opinion.
Ladd could have been in that Puka spot.
Do you know who didn't shit himself in the playoff game? Ladd McConkey. He came to play. It's just Justin Herbert did choking things. Ladd McConkey showed up.
Yeah.
Ladd McConkey had a great rookie year. And shout out to Broder. You might as well call him Matt McConkey.
That sounds spinning in the building, heavyweight.
But he's on the list, but he should be higher, 100%.
Goodness gracious. And where do you see Amon-Ra? Wait, I'm going to ask you 2 questions, Justin. Where should Amon-Ra be right now on this list, and where do you believe he'll be at the end of the season?
I think that he should be. Can you do that list up again, JB, so I can see the list? You. I think he should be 30. I think that he should have Tyreek Hill's spot, and I think that next year he'll be in around the same spot. I don't think. I think we've seen what we're gonna have with Amon-Ra. I don't think that we're gonna see more from him. I think that 1,400 yards is his cap, and he's going to be a great receiver when it comes to getting the ball when we need big plays.
Yeah. I think, Amon-Ra, I said earlier, I think he should be – if CeeDee Lamb's 27, Amon-Ra's 30, and A.J. Brown is 31, I think that's acceptable.
That's the group he needs to be in.
Even if you want to say, hey, and honestly, if you said Amon-Ra at 27, CeeDee at 30, and A.J. Brown at 31, have no problem with that
There's
either.
an argument.
Ryan Jrue,
what do you say?
He believes that Amon-Ra should be ranked higher than Hudge.
There's an argument for that based on 2 consecutive All-Pros. I just think First team All-Pros. Shout out Spenny.
He went down like 20 spots.
Yeah.
When he first team All-Pro.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
And shout out to the Heavies. They did this topic on their show and did a great job as well. But if you want to say Amon-Ra should be ahead of Aiden, I have no problem with it.
I agree with this here. What up, though, with Detroit Gunny? St. Brown will be top 5 year in and year out until he hangs him up. I believe this with a lot of Detroit Lions. I think that a lot of these players are going to be top 5 in their positions, but every year it's going to be easy for national media to go and discount them. I don't know why. like shout out to Spinney with the 2 years in a row All-Pro, but that doesn't seem to matter in the minds of people who want to quickly be able to bury this team as it relates to Super Bowl expectations, where they want to bury this team as it relates to even in the NFC. That's what's so wild, and people are so, they seem like they're just happy to just forget about the Lions. It seems like a lot of this, like we said, they consistently, well, we'll go to Lions ball with Aiden Hutchinson in there. It's just lazy from the start. And then you look at where all these other people slot, and you're sitting here telling me that McKinney is better than Brian Branch. Like, that's, I don't know, man. But I do believe that when you look at players like Sam Laporta, when you look at guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, when you look at guys like even Penei Sewell, it's amazing how much success these guys have contributed to for the Detroit Lions. And effectively, we all believe that these guys are going to definitely move up these lists and potentially start to take the spots of some of the elites of the elite.
You know what's funny? Because I was, and you're right, by the way, I was mentioned, Ryan's reaction said what he said about Amon-Ra and Hutch, that Amon-Ra should be higher. I actually think that when you're talking about someone like Pete Prisco, I still think Pete Prisco sees Amon-Ra as largely a slot guy. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with being a slot guy either and dominating from the slot, but Amon-Ra is much more than that. He's been first-team All-Pro a couple years in a row. The difference between him and, like, Aiden Hutchinson is because Aiden Hutchinson is the Terminator from the edge rushing position. He's tall. He's big. He's as talented an edge rusher as there is in the NFL, except maybe Myles Garrett or somebody like that. When it comes to Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's looked at as small and maybe a slot guy. Incorrectly, by the way, but that's the only way you could explain him being as low on the list as he is.
Yeah, definitely. And wow, Lions. It's 10-1.
It's 10-1. Do we have time for what's trending?
Yeah, we can run through this real quick.
Let's do it.
Let's do what's trending, man. Everybody's favorite.
Everybody's
we'll wrap
favorite.
up after that. So everybody go ahead and smash that like button for JB Smooth. Let's go.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
It's JB Smooth. He's that dude. It's time to rock.
Yo, let's go. What up, chat family? What up, fellas? I'll run through these videos for you real quick, but this is just the most saddest chain of events I've ever seen one person have to endure, especially in slow motion.
Okay.
Oh, no.
No. I would have rather just fallen. I would have rather, like 10 other bad things that could have happened other than this. I would have rather just literally fell on my skull, bro.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
This is just rough.
Rather just bruise my spine even than like lose my phone like that.
You can see the pain.
Oh, in
you can
slow
see
motion.
like just aura just leaving him as the phone slips down the drain. Look at it. His aura is leaving right there. You can see it. The aura leaving actually propelled the phone further. Look at this. Jeremy, run that back again. Look Flannel started. Look at it. Look how it just takes this weird little
this weird bounce and then just
Oh,
that's
terrible.
tough, bro.
And honestly, hope you got your clicks on social media. Was the backflip worth it? I'm bitter because I can't even do one.
I'm sure you got a whole lot more clicks on this backflip than if the phone would have stayed in his pocket.
Hopefully you get the money to replace it. But that's the thing. When you lose your phone, it's just, I hate to say this.
Grim said his soul left his body.
No, but if I had to even be without my phone for like 3 hours, I would lose my mind. Part of it's because of what we do for a living. We all have to be on our phone. Justin knows that more than anybody to get the breaking news. But man, we're all addicted to it. And it's okay.
We are all definitely addicted to it. I'll tell you right now. This next video, I'm not a car person, but maybe you guys can let me know what's wrong with this man's car. The gangster lane.
Wait, what? What? I mean, hey, get it how you get it. Is this car waving at people on the left side?
It's the gangster lane.
It's waving at people and it's smoking everybody out. That's a good car.
I swerve in the corner. Whoa,
yeah.
whoa.
Interesting.
Oh snap, dog! What the heck?
Yeah, Spenny said he's seen worse than that driving down Van Dyke. Any native Detroiters, you know what he means.
Fix the roads.
Just
What
fix the
pothole have you
roads.
driving like that, dog?
Man,
And finally, for what's trending, you guys, I got this video for you. It's another what happens next. So I'm going to pause this video for you guys whenever it happens.
Oh, Shorty got handles.
Pause. What happens now?
Hopefully he sends your shit off the backboard.
What happens next?
So Spenny said, hopefully he sends her shit off the backboard. You know what? I don't. Can I be honest? I don't think that would be posted if that's what he did.
It looks like. I mean, she had him kind of dancing around a little bit.
She might step back on him.
Yeah,
Ooh.
she might have this man running out of frame.
You know what? Step back. He falls down. She nails the jumper. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Kool-Aid, you agree?
I'm feeling that, man.
Feeling it?
I'm feeling it.
All right.
She got some handles too.
And play.
Oh, that's it.
Broken ankle.
That's it.
Oh,
Wait,
no.
Real? Oh.
Oh, was that like
Oh.
Okay. Close enough.
Broken ankles.
Damn.
Dang. I gotta see
Pretty
this.
epic.
Ooh.
Got him once.
Hold on, you gotta show that one more time. Both ankles. Both of them, boys.
Man, is this guy out for the season?
You gotta show that one more time because you know you really cross somebody over when they kick for the ball. Look at the
Yeah.
first crossover, dog. And he just throws his leg out there. It's like, you deserve to have your ankles broken.
I can't tell if that's a young guy or like Unk.
If that's
that
Unk,
might
he
be
has
Unk.
no more ligaments in his
Oh,
ankle.
yeah, if that's he's out.
Yeah, I think that's got to be Unk.
Yeah. Golly.
Yeah.
So he
he's
made him
just-
literally touch earth.
Freddie felt goddamn snap crackle pop. Yeah. Shout out Freddie Felt.
Look at the way he kicks after the first cross, dog.
Yeah,
That's when you know you got somebody, dog.
Xavier D. That dude is like.
Look at this.
That's what I thought. He's Unk.
Falling for his life and he kicks. Goodness.
And trust me, I know because I'm Unk to people like Justin now, which is weird place in life, but it is what it is.
Weird place in life.
Grim said, I ain't let no go, BB. That's a hard foul.
Oh, that's a hard foul.
Oh, she getting a forearm in the chest.
Spinning shit. She
Jeez,
get a forearm to
jeez.
the chest.
Oh, but that's it for what's trending, you guys.
I don't know if we have time for mailbag, but hey, it's all good.
Oh my goodness
That list
gracious,
took on
man.
a life of its own.
Shout out to JB Smooth. He definitely deserves all the likes. And chat family too. You know, who knew? You know, the list, it brought out the passion today.
Hey, and for the record, I know most people were good, but for the people complaining, that was damn entertaining, and you know that it was.
Hey, they know it.
Passions
They know it.
grow up. Passions get going.
Hey, and you know what, man? This has definitely been a show, and I do know this. Detroit, it's about to be lit the next couple weeks,
Yes, it
including us. You guys want to make sure that you stay tapped in for the different shows we're going to have. NBA draft show, NHL draft show. Really, these are kind of like off-season shows, off-season review shows. Kind of waymarks because the Pistons this year, they said F them picks, and they just didn't care about their first-round pick. They cared more about setting a winning culture, and they lost their first-round pick due to the protections that it had. But they do have the opportunity to go and find themselves back in the first round. But Trajan Langdon has that press conference at 1. We'll ask some of those questions to figure out what's what. I see Big Con 51 in the chat. Kool-Aid asked Langdon, did he inquire about what it would take for Giannis, and can we just talk NBA tomorrow? I can tell you this, one of the questions that I do have on here is if he inquired about any other players that have been moved, and if that is going to change his outlook or his approach ahead. So it'll be interesting to see what Trajan Langdon has to say. For them to hold this pre-draft press conference, even though they are at pick number 37, I think it's really intriguing. So
Yep.
37 for Devin Booker.
But Brian had the process. I was like, wait, what? What did he just say? Shout out to JB Smooth, though. Let's get this chest pass going in front of the back screen, which is really in love with the Lions right now.
Yeah, the software crashed,
Yeah.
so we're trying to get it fixed.
Resolute. Shout out to those guys.
Shout out.
But this has been a show. Let's get this thing broken down. Shout out to our brother Broder and KG. We got interns. There's a packed studio right now. Intern Noah and Ryan's in here. Spinny's in here. Brady from Sales is in the house. But in the booth, we got Cavassier Chase holding it down in the sound booth. What up, though, brother?
What's up? Check out Fast and Loose later, 1 o'clock, please. Or not. It's up to you, but it'll be there if you want to. So.
Check it out.
Shout out to WUW Sports MVP. JB Smooth in the TD booth. What up, though, brother?
Hey, Fast and Loose, another episode out later on today. Look out for some Woodward ringside stuff for myself and KG. We're probably going to be doing hopefully getting back to it with this pay-per-view coming up this weekend. If you want some more JB, like I said, the No Chill podcast is available for you right now. Episode 5 out right now, so go check it out as well.
Hey, continue to support all of the content here at Woodward Sports. Shout out to that dude, Justin. Good to have you back, bro. You survived the weekend.
Yes, very good to be back, and great show. Very enjoyable. Flannel and you crashing onto each other was hilarious, and I enjoyed it a lot. So, yeah, shout out to chat. See you soon. Check out Woodward Wings. Let's get it.
Hey, let's rock. Flannel Sam Vetter Squad Vetter the Network, all sports lover and knower. What up, though?
Hey, this Tigers A's series could be a lot of fun. You got Scooble going on the mound tonight, but even though the A's are bad, they've got a collection of young players that are going to be fun to watch, even though I hope the Tigers win the series, and I think they will. You know, you talk about Brent Rooker, you talk about Jacob Wilson, who might win the batting title, you talk about Lawrence Butler, Tyler Soderstrom, a guy whose first name is Nick. Last name is sus when you say it too fast. And, of course, the man making all the plays in center field, Denzel Clark. It'll be a fun series.
Spinny's smile of approval right now, dog. Is the stuff you live for.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the A's website and look up who one of their first basemen is. He's having a good year, though.
Hey, you know, it's your boy Brandon Dan, Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. ACX will we be live streaming the Pistons press conference. We won't be live streaming it. It's still to be determined if the Pistons are going to live stream that press conference. But in the past, those pre and post draft press conferences, you got to stay tapped in the media. One of your favorite beat writers or reporters. I'm hoping I'm one of those guys. We'll definitely have it on my page as well as Woodward Sports. So tap in with Woodward Sports, and we will definitely have you covered. I'm not even going to say one off. I'm going to say the best social team, man. Shout out to the guys that hold it down. But you guys, have a great day. It's been Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you all for supporting us and smash that like button. Stay tapped in with the rest of Woodward Sports, man. Have a blessed day, y'all.